you join me in this smoke? The world above, the lines on my face. One Magen David, two Magen Davids holding me up. The octagon, 4x4, the cross of Christ, the X of man of who he is. The three lines that go up to the energy station. Do you know what they are? Where they are? How they work? Why they work? Why we have more than one? It's this. This is the 7 card. It's the 7 card, and it's the 2 card that you don't see because it's all the way at the top. And the 8 card you don't see because it's all the way at the bottom. Because 2 is 8 on the bottom. This is the 7 card in between. 3, 3, and 1. Your 2 exteriors that go up to the energy source and to go down to the return. They crisscrossing each other. This is the roulette board. Can't you see this angle here, the way it indents? The Indian bringing 7 and 9 coming into the center, bringing 1 and 3 to go to 5. 5 connects to 7 and 9, but you flip it all upside down, and this is 1 and 3 again. Upside down, right side up, you got to give it a coordinate with a number, or you don't know where it's going. Mercury, Venus, Earth. Now the question is, Magen David and me down, 6, to want to go 1 up. 1 up, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Earth, MEV, electronic life of the Mercury heart. Mercury, the planet, is a heart. It doesn't need a moon. It's always pulsating. Venus is right next door. She picks up all the vibes. She doesn't need a moon. Do you take off your pants and stick out your ass to show everybody your ass that you have an exit point? You make a storage in your rear end from the food you eat, from the food of thought, to the thought that went through your mind. And then it all got flushed out because you had a reserve. And if you get a reserve and you have a reserve, you're on reserve. But if you go bowling, a reserve is knocking down the pins, all the pins in 2 shots, beta, and picking up the 1 spirit in the next frame to give you the total of the 2. Maximum 20. Sugar Mountain, Copper Mountain, ages you can be in songs. Movies, horror, action, fiction, a mix of laugh and comedy. Different areas of calculations and placements for understanding the same number. It's a movie. It's in the movie category, but it's under suspicion. Oh, I'm sorry. It's under the definition. Oh, I'm sorry. It's clues or colluso or colluding. Now, if I can only connect, how can I move over the gates when I was a bad boy yesterday? And I'm crying for it now because I can't do the work I want to do because I didn't sleep enough. I have to go up and take my brain and go back up and come back down or I burn the circuits. 3 days, coming to the Wednesday, your 4th day, you're not seeing too straight. Now you're 4 days away from Saturday and you haven't slept well. 16 hours awake and 8 asleep. 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 6 p.m. 2,200 hours is in the middle. 6 a.m. is to start with, so you have 24 hours in the day to another 6 is 6, 22, 6. 62, 26 is 88. HH, 88. 31st president plus 88, 11, 9, 9, 11. Herbert Hoover Clark Kent. The poison that started, that actually began just as the 13th president left office, because by the 14th president, that's a cross of Christ. It's the letter N that starts on the bottom of the left 7 and goes up down to the 3 right. It connects Uranus to Earth. Part of your ass to the mind of God. Your ass, your brain, and your balls. We have more than one brain. The nose smells, it's its own brain. The eyes see, it's its own brain. They all decode their own things. The mouth takes from within, its own brain. Your stick goes up and you're thinking to God. But when you see and you get a little horny, your stick goes down, limp and lame, but your dick and balls go fire and flame, and you're ready to play her in the pussy game. You push it in, it's a slat, like this. But once you get your dick in, it's round like this. You now got a circle, the same circle, the circle of life when the child grows will come out the same way. Starts in a slat, then a slant, the Chinese eyes. Don't think that we're not connected in the world. Somehow we're a galactic organization of some sort. Maybe there's more than one, maybe there's less than one, but God says, for the people I need to train in this world, because the others have been trained, we bring in the game, the juice of the game. In French, it's le jeu. In English, it's a Jew. But if you say Jews, J-E-W-S, 1551, 51, 15. 51 is actually 41 because the 10 God is with it. That's the Mediterranean. If it was 51, you'd be on the other side of the Monopoly board. Just after visiting jail. I forget what it is. I'm still practicing to remember the 40 spots of Monopoly. I do have a few down. Don't forget, 28 on the wheel from go, you're on the moon. You're the man on the moon, the first cycle. MAN equals 28. 28 days of the moon. But it's the girl's menstruation. Somehow it got switched, right? The girls go to 29 days. But they're 28 days because they're 27 days. Because you have to hop over this way. To hop back this way, it is 28 days in that world, but it's 26 days in this world, and you're in the center of the two spirits. The one and the two, and then the three of Christ. And then the three create you. You got 6 and 9. 3 by 3 is 9. By 3 is 27. 2 and 7 is 9. By 3 is 81. 8 and 1 is 9. 29, 38, pig, SNS, moon, pig, pigs fly. Don't you know? We're all flying, but we're standing on the ground. Somehow, the way I see it, and I know I'm all over the place, I even get to smoke my joint, and I don't smoke the whole thing. I only smoke until I feel the passage open. Then I stop and I wait. Take a little puff of the cigarette, just to stabilize with the nicotine, the door, so it doesn't overflow, but it makes me a little sick. It's like a cancer. I gotta make a cancer so I can get the cancer of my thoughts out of my head. And if you can't get them out of your head, you usually get the cancer. And it works by 75 years. 3 levels of Rubik's Cube. And now you go around Rubik's Cube. 225, 225, 225, 225, 1000. Letter M, Roman numerals, God. 10 by 10 by 10. The Jewish star. The center is 5 by 5 by 5 equals 125, or the 5th of May. And I got sick on the 5th of May. The 5th of the 5th of the 5th on the 125th day, 5 by 5 by 5 is 125, plus the 15 is 1 spirit of the 40 go. Plus 1 is 41, I'm on the Mediterranean, I'm in the world. Because the bullhorns in this world are on the Mediterranean and on the Baltic. And in between is Australia. They tied in the last strands at the end. Australia is gray. They live between black and white. They're either being pushed or pulled. So they decided to stay in between and let anybody come in, as long as they don't start any trouble. Every place on this planet has a place and an understanding. If you look at maps all over, not looking at highways, because highways also guide the spirit entry and the connections and angles of the moon. Now, I always lose my place, but that's okay. The angles of the moon. 27, 27, 27, 81. 777, 3 worlds. 333, 81. Now, we were at 29 making 11. So all my numbers reversed will make 121. I was on the 125th day. Now I'm going to go back to the 121, if I can remember the 125th to the 121st day, which is May 1st and April 30th this year because of the leap year, in which May 1st was 122, and April 30th was 121, in which April 1st, man's full day, is now 92nd day. 91 is 81 plus 10 God. Where does the 10 God exist? In Monopoly, he exists right in the center of the board. You take, where is my, I don't have any of my cards here. 1111, center of the board. Anyways, you take the trains who are on number 6 property, but 5 from go, says 5 from the center. 5 from the center, 1 train to get on another train to go 5 more. You don't want to go on an angle, because when you go on an angle, you measure your TV. They sell you a TV at 27 inches, but it's only 26. So you want to go straight. So you go straight this way, and then you cut a corner that way. Cutting the corner, you have to go around the center. Just like the driving, the way they make us drive, you go around the center. It takes a little bit of time. And that's what adds on to the extra time. You don't count the dollar. You count from the beginning. 1 quarter, 1 dime, 1 nickel. Excuse me. 1 quarter, 2 dimes. 1 quarter, 2 dimes, 3 nickels, 4 pennies. You take the 4 pennies, because 2 pennies go in the first, 1 penny, hold on. 5 gets 1 penny, 5 gets 1 penny, 5 gets 1 penny. 10 gets no pennies, because 10 gets 5, 15, which is the egg, that gets the 1 spirit, which is 16, the 1 spirit of 6, sweet 16, or the 16th letter P, and that letter on the Monopoly board is able to draw in the corners and have a line that will continue on to the other corner, because corner to corner is the completion. It's not a round, it's a straight. A straight is 10. You went from A to B, from 1 to 10. Doesn't matter the distance. You made the route. Then again, you do have to pass the stop sign. And that's the spirit octagon of the 8th world telling you where you are when you come to the lights. Red light district. 29, 39, 29, 38, 47, 56, 4 times 121. But one of them falls in April. 3 of them fall in May. April is the 4th month. Mars. May is the 5th month. You only get 3. The mug and doublet can only hold 3. So when you get into May and you go out of May, you got 3 and 3. And then 1 again. And they keep overlapping. The 31st president, Herbert Hoover Clark Kent. Clark Kent, Bugs Bunny, Clark Kent, Snoopy, flying in the sky, the red Baron or Brown, the Baron lands. 121 times 3 is 363. It's 1 day before the last moon ends, but it already started to come in. But there's 2 1/4 days left in the year. 54 hours. That's where God came in. Because the word love, L-O-V-E, is it. Love is it. L12, O15, V22, E5. L12, O15, 27. V22 for life, 49, 7 by 7. Plus 5, 54. We got love of it. 5 times 4 is 20, the T letter. 4 plus 5 is 9, the I letter. We got it in the word of it. The 363rd day, 363. 3 and 6 is 9 left, 3 and 6 is 9 right. 6 by 3 left is 18 chai. 6 by 3 is 18 chai. 18 and 9 is 27, 2 and 7 is 9. 18 and 27, 18 and 9 is 27, 2 and 7 is 9. 9 and 9 is 18. 18 is 1 and 8, it's 9. 18 is the 1 center to the 8 around the 45 degrees that makes the stop sign. Stop and go. You're sending in the message. If you're getting back the vibration, what are you doing for a storage tank? You can't talk at the same time as you're thinking. It has to go in a process. So it goes into a holding tank. And for as good and as swift as you are in your thought and honesty inside your own life, is as fast as the vibrations can come out of your mouth and speak the right way so the other ears can hear. Because man has 4 ears. If he doesn't have 4 ears, he speaks for nothing because there's no one there. So he doesn't speak at all, but he talks to God just by thinking. But he's not sending any letters, and he makes no sound. And he doesn't hit the tree, but if he hits the ground, God knows. Because he feels it in the heel of his foot. Heel dog, heel dog, heel dog. What are you talking, a dog on a hill? Well, that's good. We'll get up to you. Maybe we'll be able to see Godot, the God of all. L-A-N-A. L-A-O-L-A, L-A-O-L-A. It means to go. The Allah God, saying to go. Go into this world. We have more than one brain. There's more than one God. Hashem's got to have a load of gods, or kings. The Greek gods. Everyone is a different position on the earth to understand its secrets. I can't know everything. I try my best to shoot it out here so you best can understand the thousands of years. I wish I would get some information back so I can know what you're thinking, so I'll know what I'm thinking by what you said. Because it's it. It's always it. It's the word that's in, it's the word that's out, it's the dick that's in, it's the baby that's out. In and out, you put it in her, then you took it out of her. But if you liked it in, why'd you take it out? Oh, because you were done. So I guess the brain in your dick said you were done, you were tired, you rolled over, and you went to bed like a good little dog, while she was turning over and saying, do you love me still? Do you love me still? So when you don't know that, and she asks you that, you don't get a good feeling inside. You feel like you have to hide. So now you're the raccoon. You hide in the garbage can, you don't say a word, you keep it all in your head, and then you get sick over it. But you're not really sick over her, and you really don't care. But you really don't know that there's a brain in there, and has a mind of its own. And it's not your choice or decision, it's only there to correct you. Because if the teacher doesn't come to correct you, you'll be tumbling over your toes. So they put the big toe first to make sure you don't press too hard. So now, every time you take a step in the ground, your toes make a mark, one at a time. First this foot, and then this foot, and then this foot, and big foot. Look the way they cross each other, always making the X. Your feet make one X. When you bend over, the energies that crisscross and continue, that make stars and Magen Davids and whatever you want, you will always be able to see it because all the angles are perfect. But if you look straight at it, all you see is diamonds and razor blades, lines, holes in between the lines. Holes or a little fog, a little humidity, a little dust inside, a little magic powder that Tinkerbell has put on the children to fly out to Never Ever Land, where the pirates, they sail the skies. Because we're in the middle of nowhere. Do you actually know where home is? This earth is in between, I don't know, go north, it's ice. Go south, it's ice. No, wait a second. What if I go straight up? Straight up. Bugs Bunny went straight up and made a curve. He met Marvin the Martian. If I go straight up, or I go straight down, what God did is this. He replaced the angle of the sun, so the polars won't melt. He brought down the top of the sky in which he covered, so the ice shouldn't melt, so that man, as the ice melts, tick, tock, and the oceans move. And the oceans, salt and water, the humidity and the mist, it rises. And it goes into the strands, and whatever goes up, but the ocean comes down. And then it comes into you, Charlie Brown, and you're fumbling all over the place because you ain't taking your time to think about it. Come on, Charlie Brown, you saw Snoopy, he's just a dog, but he's got it all on his nose. You see the nose he has and the colors he has? Snoopy is like the cat. But Snoopy's got black ears, as where Goofy or Pluto are different. Pluto is orange and black, and that's okay. It's the contraries. It's the Halloween. Instead of being the red, it's red and yellow. The pool ball. 3 is red, 1 is yellow. The spirit and energy of Christ, the 31st President of the United States, Herbert Hoover, Clark Kent. Kryptonite. Hoover Dam. Hoover vacuum cleaners, sucking up the water from the hotels in Vegas. If you're talking about the movies, Leaving Las Vegas, or anything else, I'll switch it around and show you what's happening in front of us instead of what's behind us. Because I look behind to see what's in front. But you can only go as far as the news can forecast. They show you 14 days, they get the first 3 right all the time. But they only get the first 3 right when the first one has gone to yesterday, and now you're today, and you're thinking about 2 days from now. So the news works that way. So I know the spirit works the same way. Because man made news. On the news that's there all the time, north, east, west, and south news, bring in the good news, N, 14th letter of Rubik's Cube. Not only is it that, but the O letter 15, the N is the passage to each side through it. It holds up the O like the pussy. You put something in the pussy and it holds out the sides. The N goes into the O so Y can pass. The O reconnects all the empty spaces between the letters. When you see letters, you're supposed to put them all touching together because that's the way they come. But when you get to the Z, you put a big 0 because we don't know what's going on to the next Rubik's Cube. And the question is why? And we know right away, right here, this is why. That's the chicken leg. One goes out to the left, one goes out to the right. It balances and comes back in the mixture. One is the pure energy from the Christ above. One comes from the wells of Mercury, your heart, and the other one comes from the wells of Earth, your body. Do we live on Earth? We live on Earth. Sure we do. Well, I'm living on a hard cement floor right now. The buildings put into the earth and bonded down there, standing up straight. But it's just like the Matrix. It's all in our eyes. I threw out my glasses 2 years ago. I grabbed my mirror and I threw it out the window. I took my glasses and I threw it out the window. I took everything that I didn't need for the window at my house and threw everything out. Somebody comes over last week, he says, for a guy who threw everything out, he says, you certainly knew what to say. I couldn't have the old air conditioning in my house because a friend of mine that was here had bad vibrations. Very bad vibrations. And he liked the cold. When you like the cold, it's supposed to cool the mind, so you can think. But his mind was in other places. Very smart guy, right? But when you're sleeping 16 hours and up 8, I couldn't take that. My brain works all the time. If his is not going to work, then I couldn't handle it anymore. And all I wanted was $7 for rent, $1 a day for the cycle of the moon. And I couldn't get that. So I figured if he couldn't cycle the moon, the 2-spirit, then the 2-spirit he couldn't have in my house. 2 and 2 is the 4 walls, and the roof above and the floor below. What floor below? 4 below? Well, what is 4 below? 4 and 4 is 8, plus 32 is 24, minus 20% is 23.6. Is that what it is? No. 2, 3, 6 can't be. Let me do it again, because it has to come out to number 5. I'll show you. Everything in Celsius comes out to number 5 Fahrenheit. Let's do this again. 4 and 4 is 8. Plus 32, because that's how it works, okay, is 8. Minus 8 and 32 is 24. But, remember, 24 is X, okay? Now, 25 is a Jack and Queen and King. And 23 is the creation. 24... How did I get to 24? Think back, my friend, O Lord, in the sky, the energies and the power. I have my green lights and my red lights. I've turned all yellow lights off in this house. There is no white lights in this house. Because when the white sees another color on the wall, it decides to be the color of the wall. So I took away the white light because it lies and it hides everywhere. And when it gets to black, well, the black shines. Black ain't supposed to shine. But it is supposed to shine. Because everything that's in black has been run up. And a shiny bill is perfect. And when it's a perfect diamond, the diamond size is the Christ. Go look at the diamond sizes. I was still thinking about 24. Yes, minus 4 because of the expression. So now we have 24, but we add 20% because it's below. If it's above, then minus 20%. That's the way it works. I broke it all down. They do it mathematically, but I couldn't do it that way. Because if it works mathematically, it has to work number and digit by digit number. So 24 0.8 it has to be, the temperature. 24 is put him to bed because he's in the heaven. B and D and H. BDH. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. 1 and 4 is 5. Everything works that way because the transfer, the Fahrenheit to Celsius, is between the two moons. And if you don't have the numbers of the calling, when you come up there, hey, I'm 4 Celsius, I'm coming up, right away it knows it's 56 Fahrenheit, because the dossier down here and the dossier up there, listen, they classify them different. Do you do anything like God at all? The God of Goodall, the Gad God. He's not a God, he's the Gad. Because the O is the entrance into this world that made him the O God. But he's the angel God. And he's not even the D God. That's the angle of Mars, where Mercury and Uranus go up to Mars and they speak back to man. They throw it up to Venus, where the 3 lines come, and then it comes over to this side, right and left. I went to court the other day, this is sort of a joke, and I walked into the courthouse and the guy says to me, put your hands on the Bible. And I'm thinking, Babel? I'm French a little bit. Babel, Babel. It means a toy. Bible. Babel. That's the way I heard him, because my vibrations in his voice, I don't vibe the same. I heard Babel. He says, put your hand on the Babel. And he says, is it going to hurt me? What is a Babel? What's the Bible? Put your left hand on the Bible. Hold on. I look to the right. I look. Left. Hold on. I look to the right arm. I look to the left. No. I look to the right arm. I look. The arm is left. The arm is left. My left arm. It's gone. How do you want me to put my left arm on the Bible? Anyway, you're screwing me up. So now he says to me, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I go, wait a minute. You want me to swear now on a toy? You want me to swear to God and pretend he's a toy, the golden trinket? You want me to swear? Or do you want the answer? I'll give you the answer. I won't swear on nothing because it's what you believe is the difference of the knowledge of the truth. The truth is not here. The truth is down here. What comes out of your mouth? The division of your chin. The reason we have the beard is because the hairs touch each other. The 2 sides of the head, the left and the right. Hold on, which eye? We're in an eyes examination. He checks one eye. He doesn't go in my brain and check the center eye if it's okay. He checks these 2 eyes. Fuck these 2 eyes. What do these 2 balls know? Full of color, black dot in the center. You never know when they're telling the truth. So how do you know? You gotta understand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Swear. Swear. You want to swear? In court, swear? And tell the truth? And talk to God on a toy? I don't get it. Who's listening? This has got to be a joke. They take you to jail. So you're not happy, and in French they call it pen. You're sad. That in pen, or a penitentiary, or a black and white penguin, because he couldn't decide between the 2. He wasn't gray. Gray's a good color. It's between black and white. Indecisive, but at least he knows where his position is. He knows whichever way he goes, he's going to be more than one than the other. But he won't be a mix of both. That's where the black man and the white man come in. The Indian and the Chinese. The African, the Jamaican, the Haitis, the colors, the skins, the islands of the Pacific. Somehow, we're in this big bowl in space. They melt this ice from space, in which they gathered. Just before they did anything, they needed to drill the holes. So they cut pyramids and were able to hang them from all 3 corners, creating the Mercedes sign, 120 degrees between each, 360 degrees. It's always 360 degrees. By 2 is 720 RPMs, you're running your car too high, it's going to overheat. Car's going to overheat. I'm going to go back to number 29, but I was talking about the islands. Somehow, we're like a challah bread. Okay? Mountains all over and flat on the other side. When you put something in the oven to make it, it's flat on one side. How do you hold it in the air? You only do that to a chicken because he can't fly and hold himself up. So you give him one wing and you hold him up with another wing by all these mechanics they put on it. The islands, okay, is like Avatar. They went up to the highest mountain, everything made of ice and earth. They cut out pyramids. They brought them down. They cut out another pyramid. They seized the pyramids together. Okay, from the sand, they made cement. They had the salt. They can dry it out. You salt the meat dries out, and it stays together, and now it's fresh. They take this out of the sky from the galactic they are. They keep cutting pyramids, and then the winds of the galactic come in. The pyramids are now lowered down, and they're turned into a soup bowl, a long one, sort of like a banana split, with 3 mountains on it. But now, you put the mountains on this side, and then from underneath, you put the mountains from this side. But it's not round. It's rectangular. It's spectacular. She has spectacular. You can't go up. It's ice. Jack and the Beanstalk went through a hole, the same hole where God lives on top of the ice. He's carved it all out as an ice castle. That's why they call him Santa Claus. The Santa Claus with the signature you signed on the contract you knew about of what everything was about in this life, in this world. You signed a contract. It was the clause of your life. You came down. They gave you a sin by giving you one spirit. And then when you hit sweet 16 or 18, the one spirit of 8, the Chai, to life, the letter R, who carries the moon on its back, because the sound of the letter also represents the A, which is first, which is the angel king. AK, AKA, Big Slick. Poker. The light that's here, the end of the tunnel, is everywhere. They had the pool to start with. But the sky was frozen with old entities. The soul, separation from the spirit lives on, but the soul, the ugly soul and all the bad thoughts get frozen. And just like ice, it dries out. And now you know you've purified that soul. That soul can be reused in the next mix when God goes up to his laboratory to remake another Jew. Why a Jew? The juice you drink. Le joie de vivre. Just like I said before, news, and I'm going to get back up to the sky first. NEWS, N, 14:5. E, 5th letter. First part of the opening for the moon passage. W, 23rd letter, 2 and 3 is 5. S, 19th letter, 1. 555 with the 1 spirit. 5 times 5 times 5, 125. The 5th of May, the day I got sick. It's now 7 years, 5 months. The number on the dice, 2012. 6 up, 6 down, 12. 5 around, 20, 2012. That's why I don't add them together. There's 2 more, it's 2014. But that's when we jump 2 years over into the next cycle. Because in 2016, that's a real sweet 16. 2016, 36 creation. The new age is now in. But the calendar stands at 0. This year, it's Bat Mitzvah for the girl. That means Christ must come back because the 19 by 19 turns of the moon, which equal 360 plus 1, is the birthday of Christ. This year, it falls on a leap year. When he came the first time as an entity, it wasn't the leap year because he was born in -3 BC. And in the Hebrews, they had the leap year every 21 years. So now what you got to do is divide 21, and I'm going to get up to the sky if you can remind me. I wish you were talking to me right now. Now we got to do 37, yeah, 3757 divided by 21 equals, no, that's, I divided it. Why did I divide it? Anyways, I don't have that exact number, but a Hebrew leap year, apparently they add on 20 or 21 days. The reason for the 21 or 21 days is where the cycle of the dice is. Are you on the 1 dice or the 2 dice or the 3 dice? The 1 dice, the 2 dice, and the 3, and at the end, you get the 19, 20, 21. Why? Because 1 to 6 is 21. Take away the 1, it's 20. Leave the 1, take away the 2, it's 19. Take away the 1 and 2, it's 18. Chai, that's you. 18th roll. In Monopoly is Tennessee, and you're singing the tunes. You got the vibration. You got the blues. You're ready to rock and roll. Get over to Louisiana, because God is French. French bread and French toast, and he's there for breakfast. Even in America, you got French toast. You got French toast all over the world. How can we not have a French God? That's why Quebec is the way it is, and it wants to separate, because it knows the truth deep down in their hearts. But in their hearts, to their minds, they don't know how to do it and get it right. They don't know and understand that up there it's French and down here it's English. That's why the English knew how powerful it was down here. They want to take over the world. Asia also knew what it was all about, because underneath the Baltic is one of the horns of the Ram. Passes through Australia and into the Mediterranean. Now, I'm going to go back up to the sky now. What happens is they take these pyramids and they carve them out in the center. Just like taking a dice cube, taking a dice cube, okay, cutting it not like this, okay, but cutting it on this point. The diamond cut is what they call it. They cut off the points. It looks like the Superman sign. They drill it out in the center and they put it down like this. Okay, on a point. The reason they put it on a point, because it gets wider. So if you put it in a crack like a pussy, and you push it all the way in, it'll stay there, it won't go any deeper, even though she's asking for more. The reason for the blacks and the long penis is because you had no more. But the long penis is because you're coming from Venus. And you got to go from Venus all the way down, okay, and all the way over here. For the thinking, but for your dick it's straight down. So when it's that long and all the way down, there's no curve in it. But a Jew has a curve in his dick, on his stick, where his 2 balls hang around, and he ain't playing golf. But he's still got a shaft, and he's got them all in his bag. And along with them are the 2 balls he carries around, just in case he knocks one into the water. But that's okay. I'm going to talk about what they do. So what they do is they pull these strands. They call them the dreadlocks. It's a hemp-style stuff. They used it for everything back then because it grew faster. It was stronger. It can be almost used as an oil as well as anything else. It's like a magic wand. So when they put all these strands at the end so it doesn't run away, they have to burn the ends off. God didn't tell all his children about everything, because he wanted them to enjoy every element of the creation of this planet. That's why Jamaica has their own. They have their own little planet, their own island. So when they cut off these pieces and they melted them together, went up their nose. You know the way the air is? The air, your air comes from your head like this, and then goes up your nose and back up, and then down into your lungs where there's a tree, and now you're all hooked up, and that's the jack-o'-lantern, your light. So they put these strands, and then they crisscross them, like diamonds. Diamonds, like the diamond card, that's why in Christopher he pulled the diamond 8 for the straight, because he was going straight across, 4 and 6. Either he's going to Mars to speak to man, or he's going to man to give him some news. 4, 5, 6 in your phone, the federal government. In business, it's no good, because this is personal and not general. So they take these pyramids, and since it's diamonds and they're 3-sided pyramids, they fit perfectly in. But they kept changing, because we had to run this world as a square, 3 by 3. So we had to make 4-sided pyramids, so we had a flat floor. But the only way we can make a 4-sided pyramid is with 4 corners of triangles. Almost like seeing this. It's an hourglass that reads time. They sit inside of these, and then God brings in his son. the Christ, the energy, the yellow energy, the octane, the banana. Letting go to that long dick. The reason for this is because here is Venus, okay, in place of God, who works from here, Jupiter. Venus has to go all the way up from here. So she goes all the way here, and then she angles off over here. 2-9 connection on your phone, 11. And she has to stretch all that way. So she has to leave a little extra string in it, a little loose, because there has to be a little weight. If you keep your string shorter, okay, it'll be able to stay stiffer. You need less extra string because the sway is less of the wind, and you have to measure the wind speed that's going to come into the earth so it doesn't rip the strands. So that's why the colored people have longer penises, is because beta is black. God plays a role of the black man in this world by the two-spirit. But he's the red God because he's the demon when it comes to thinking. He's going to tell you everything. You have to decide and learn on your own based on the 10 commandments. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D, area 1, area 2, area 3, area 4, goes all the way around, times 90, 360 degrees. 1, 2, 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10. You have the E-pass, which is 5. You have now 15. Your 15 letter is the O. Your O now becomes 15. Before it was 101. The O was 0 because it was 101. Become the first dice. There's nothing holding it in. It does what it wants. It's a flathead. Does what it wants. It's flat. Everywhere around the surface. And that dot, it just sends out the message all over where it can connect. The 1 connects to 3. The 1 connects to 3. 1 to 3. And then the 1 to the 4. 4, 3, 7. The 1 is opposite of the 6. The 6 goes to the 4, 10. And goes over to the 3, 9. If you turn around the dice, instead of going from 9, you go to 11, or you go back to 9. 9, 11. The turning of the dice, the turning in spaces of the moon time, the clock of the earth. So they set these pyramids in place, and now they melt the skies. But at this time, Abraham and Jacob, they were alive. Who came first, Noah or Abraham? Because the islands of the Jew was in the jungle. That's how they called him a Jew. It was the circle of life. I told you, God is black. Because in black, no light will hurt him. He'll only reflect. And then it'll be a shiny black, so they call it gloss. And then you put gloss on your lips to sweeten them up, so you can move them better. Jungle, Jew. Jungle, George. G and J is the same, the 7 world and the 10 world. 7th letter and the 10th letter. God and God, same God. 5 and 2 God. 6 and 1 God. 4 and 3 God. That's the Christ that came in. And in pull, it's the 1 and 3 ball. Red and yellow. Make the orange sun. Or, it's the 9 ball yellow. And the 11. 9-11. 1 and 3, red and yellow, is 9-11, because the blue is the electricity that comes into this world to energize the moon. The moon, okay, like on the 8 card, okay, is not round, okay. She only gets round as she fills up her information. She's an ocean. She fills up her information, everything goes here, it vibrates through the energies of the eye on everything. The salt that clicks the electricity to move into the ocean. That's why the moon and the ocean are true. This is your 8 card, 2 moons. I know I didn't make it good, but the way they move, it works the moon, okay, is this. This is how the moon works. 1, 2, 3, it went all the way around, 360 degrees, but with 3, 120, 120, 120, Mercedes. Mercedes, silver Mercedes and matrix is 85, 85. 85 and 15, the egg makes 100%, 10, 10. Or 85 to the 10 world is 25, because you're adding on the 10 for God, X and O. O is 15, X is 10 in Roman numerals, makes 25. 2 and 5 is 7. The 2 and 5 God. The one that brings in the energy. The 1 and 6 are crossed like this on your telephone. Telephone, dice, roulette, cards. So now what they do is they fill up these islands with water. And it's salty because it's from the earth. And we end up with Salt Lake City, Hoover Dam. We end up with the Mediterranean, the salts in the Dead Sea and the Red Sea. The Dead Sea is black. What are the colors of the seas, the names of the oceans? Is it general, public, or is it tourism? Because if we're into tourism, that's another part of our brain. Going out to relax on the med. So the Jews were in the jungle and were making a matrix. So we put all these pyramids down, and then at the end, we carve out the dice. And we stick it to the edges so nothing goes over. So we save the ocean. Now that you save the ocean, and you fill it up, you bring down more pyramids, and you set them up. But wait, you can't support it because the water, it's not heavy enough. So you fill up more water and more water. But Abraham and Jacob, they were in the jungle. The Jews of the jungle, Jews, in small letters, 1, 551, 5115, 66. 1 and 5 is stronger than 6. It is the 6, but the 1 and 5, okay, in this world, you're the 2 and 4, and 1, 7. 4 and 2 is 6. The Spirit is in your heart. You don't want to count it. B and D, add the E that brings in the 1 Spirit. And you have 11 of the 9 birth, equaling 20, 5 by 4. D&E, day, dice, die, die-anu, 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 and then repeat it, because you throw the dice in life. You go play craps. Now in craps, 4 and 10, same odds. 5 and 9, same odds. And that's peculiar, because 1, 5, 9 are across from each other, they go into the same position. F-I-V-E, or fifth. You have to change it for an F, because the 5 is in the center. It becomes a fag. It goes both ways. It goes all the ways. Jupiter is the pig that connects 38, S, 38, S, 38, by PPI, Mississippi. The current is running of the S's and the 1-6 spirit. Man is 1-5 of Jew. Why? Because he's not here. He's in the odd world. He's not in this world where everything repeats. A vacation is a vacation. But when you go into the jungle and the animals are there, and if you're nice enough and you get the vibrations, you can talk to them. Because they don't know the words you speak. They don't see the letters come out. Do you see letters coming out of my mouth? That's parchments that rise to the sky. It's the energy. It's the breath I breathe from my heart. The heat of the 98 degrees. 9 by 8 is the 7,200 RPMs, the maximum you can go. Because at 9 by 9, you're in the other world. You burn the motor up. So you go to 72. You go up to come down. You have to know where the brick wall is, and you have to know you stop one before. Because the stop sign is there. But there's a sign that says it's a curve. So if it's a curve, there's a speed limit, it's yellow, and the diamond's on the angle. So the Jews are in the jungle. 5-5. News, 5-5-5. 3. The Magen David. 1, 2, 3. There's 6. 3 and 3. 3 to 1 center. 3 to 1 center. 3 to 1 center. 31, 13, 44. The number for space. 31 and 13. Why 13? Just because 2 dice go to 12. You always have the total, the first and the last. You got 13. Lucky 13 that put us into this world, the 1 extra spirit. The first time of the second time, because the first spirit, the number 1, stays with God. The next time it's the 10. It's black. The 1 spirit is red. Got to go to roulette and check these out. 1, 10, 19, 28. 28 and 10, 38, the pig connecting to the Jupiter. 1 and 10. 1 and 10, 10 and 28 is 38. 1 and 19 is 20. 5 by 4, 20. The 4 parts of the angle of 90 degrees makes 360. 49 equals to the word 8, eternal H. The 31st president, the yellow and the red ball in pool. You're playing for 7 and 7. The 8 ball sitting in the center. which heaven's going to win. You're the God, you got the Q, you're queued up. You got the blue or green chalk, one for the electricity or one for Mars. The Martians of green, the murky lakes where your mind sits when God goes from Uranus, which is the gate. But up above is Mercury going down to Mars and telling him all the stories. Do you know why? Because he's in the one position. He's in the one position over here on this angle, and whichever way he branches out, it's all the same. And now the sun is made that way. If you look at the sun, put on yellow glasses. You got to get rid of what they gave us in this world that fucks us up. Because we can't see and we want to see better, but we're seeing better to a world that's not actually in front of us. That's why the Matrix came out and Harry Potter came out to show us. God sends signs through the actors. These actors, don't worry, I'll get back to Jacob, but these actors, okay, have that energy. They read the vibes that are in front of them. They have a buzz to the world. They feel a little free. They were bubbly when they came in. Not only that, when you signed the contract to come here, there's a list. What do you want to do? You don't know nothing for money. God just tells you a little bit about money. The Red Bull. The money in your pocket, a $50 bill, a $20 bill, a $10 bill, and a 5. 50, 10, 25, 85, the Matrix. Now you got 1 and 2. The one Spirit God and the 2. Then you come in, 3, you have 91. 81 and 10. 91 is 1 to 13, adding up all the numbers, 91. You add in the extra ace 11 because you're in the world, 102. That stands for Valentine's and blackjack to a full count. But blackjack to the half, to the real count, is 96. And that's man making babies. And that's why it's upside down and you're always licking pussy. Because the cats in the world are always scratching at your back. And the cats are all the brains who are in you. The 9 lives of the cat. The totality of the brains, connections that are in your body of 3, 3, and 3. We're a block. We're a square head. The French, it's a frog, because God jumps around all black betas, 2, 4, 6, and 8, 1 to 3, 3 to 9, 9 to 7, 7 to 1. Or he goes 1 to 5 to 9, because he owns Jupiter. 1 is the flip reverse of 9. When 9 comes into this world, it becomes 6, because 1 is in the top level. When you're a baby, you're in the bottom level. You ain't doing anything but sucking on tits and crapping out your ass and changing diapers. Change, 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 change. So since we had 88 that went to 91, in which Hoover is the 31st president, but his initials are 8 and 8. 88 and 31 is 11-9. 88 and just the 3 is 91. He's the one. He's the marking of time, because the bar mitzvah was at 13. Then 18 years before he becomes a reish in his head. 31, 31st president. Not sure of the age. I know when he died, he was in the office in 1929. 29 is a leap number. 19 is the moon. He went out in 1933. 19 is the moon, still connected. 33 is the 3 and 3 Christ. Now we're going to go back to Jacob and the jungle. The reason they end up to be Jewish is because they wanted to have a real world. They wanted to go see and learn from the land of plenty, where the vines grew, but the vines were coming down into your mind. They wanted to be more real, because we're not real. We're only real to the bodies we possess at the time. The only thing we are is vibrations of energy that just understand. We're just a computer board, a motherboard in the head that comes from somebody else that's been transferred from the other side of the moon. So you know how the moon works? This is the moon. Do you see the moon? Now watch. Watch as the moon turns. Hold on, I lost my video. I'm going to make a better one. Let me hold on. So Jacob, remind me of the moon, and we still didn't finish with the pyramids. So God had something planned for them. He had this plan for them. See the shape in the middle? IHOP. Let's go get some pancakes and jump into one of those hotels, because that's the shape. And this is the shape we're in, the world we're in, the 10 world with the one spirit that goes right into where the IHOP is. The rabbit with the bunny ears and the 2 long teeth, because we got 2 on the top and 4 on the bottom. 24 is the X-Man, which is the angle of running on these cards. If I can show you. See the angle of that card? That's the way it works. 3-in-1 in that corner, and then you flip it upside down. They milk together, top and the bottoms, the heavens and the earth. Now, I want to go back to the 8 and Jacob. I still want to talk about Jacob. So now, I had the 8 card. You see these two? Okay, now I'm going to do something. But I still want to talk about Jacob. So, they were in the jungle. Jungle, they call him a Jew. He was in the jungle. Je in French says I. Mais backwards in French says I am. They had a belief in something. What they call in French, they croyaient, they believed. And to say believe in French, okay, up in heaven, it's a wish. They were from the jungle, they were from the Jew. So they became the wish of the Kwa, which is Christ. And down here, it's a Jew and a wish. So they're Jewish. Nothing different than anybody else. But they set their sights higher. Why? Because the color went down. The mix of the colors changed. Because when white comes out, he can color his face. And it can be seen a whole lot clearer. But when you make white in the light, it also brings in the evil to balance the night. That's why God brought in the night sky. So man can see through his REM sleep. REM, backwards, says mother, ocean. So Jacob wanted to come here. I don't know all the stories, but now the pyramids have been placed. The ends have all been cut out. But you know how they cut out the ends? Like this. Because they were on an angle. They couldn't cut any better. Quarter moons. They kept putting quarter moons all the way around. Dinosaur bone ribs. All the way around like Fred Flintstone serving ribs, beef ribs. After that, now they came in and they melted the ice and separated it from the sands and the salts. And now they spread it around. Now, after they did this and they removed the pyramids, I forgot to mention, before they did part 1, this is part 1, they pulled the island away because they had no place to start. So they blew the winds in and the strands of matrix that brought the gases in that made a flow. And each pyramid they pulled out was from its own section, because you can't pull out a pyramid like this and cut upside down. It'll fall on your head and slide you away. You got to do it the opposite way. So by doing that, it makes cyclones, like in the vacuum cleaner. And each vein came in different. And then it started to make heat, started to get hot, and the gases started to move. They started to go quicker and quicker, but there were only 3 to start. And God saw this wasn't right. All we were making is the Pontiac sign, the first expression of creation from the Indians, which is taking a triangle and pushing it down here, but leaving the sides up. Okay, but it looks like, I'll show you what that is. It turns into the ace and the wings of a bird. So what they do is they put in this gas, they cut one more triangle out, because now that the gas has been moving, it's burned a round hole because it's naturally round. That's the way it goes. Everything is a cyclone. Why is it a cyclone? Because if you splash into the pool, it makes a big splash. But if you wind it in, it turns in through the air, just pushing the air slowly apart, coming in nice and slow. Shh. The turtle has his head out, and he's in the middle of Mars. The turtle. So now they cut the 4th pyramid out. Now you got 4 cyclones. Now in the center of 4 balls, you have a diamond. Now the diamond that was holding the lands down below, the baseball diamond, where they put the bones in to curve out the field for the outfield. Now it all looks round. It looks like you got a diamond in the front from the shape of the pyramid, which didn't stretch out all the way because of the bones, because they had to connect the islands together. They put bones on this one and bones on that one and tied the bones together. And they made a movie with a guy named Bones who threw the dice and knew everything. I played the dice in my head, and I know nothing. In 5 minutes, I can be blank and know nothing at all. But as long as I keep a little weed and cigarette, some good juice, and a little bear's honey, I'll be able to stick around. Ha ha ha. Sometimes it's a little sweet to remind me of the bitter times. So now I'll do better to make it of the better times for in honor of the bad times of what I created in my previous life. So now that these cyclones are going, the gas builds in the center, kaboom! And all of a sudden, the whole sky is falling down. And God calls Noah, because Noah was working down below. He says, Noah, he says, get here, he says, get here, he says, you gotta load them 2 by 2, the waters are coming. You had to put in the fish. The fish were going to swim away because they've melted from the ice and they came to life as electronic fish. They scale from 1 to 5. Tuna means 2 North Americas. 1 down in Britain and 1 up here. 2 North Americas. 2 ends of the stick. They split themselves apart. When the islands started to come to settle themselves on the mounds of earth that were now here, the islands that were connected around, the 4 islands, now he had to rise the ocean and rise the land. Now 1 land became the north, and 1 land became the land of under. So what did he do? He put Neptune was on the bottom, and that rose the land from under and made sure that we were going to be able to have a rise. Because at this surprise, I forgot to tell you, the black boxes were settled in the earth. Now the gravitational pull of the energy of the explosion of the Big Bang that was created to set up this island so that Noah can come in 2 by 2. Because it wasn't the rains. Because it was raining here to fill up the oceans, to rise. And then it filled up the oceans underneath, because it was under and the ground over. You had a ground under and a ground over in pyramids. And God saw this was good. So he turned the baby over and he spanked her and he did the same thing on the other side. And now we got 2 sides. But we're not round. We're like a baseball. Well, a flat baseball. Almost like a tractor. Like one of those caterpillar tractors. So now we've got the earth, the water. We rebuild here, we flip it over, we rebuild another surface, okay? But at that time, like I told you, you split all the corners. You split the 4 corners on the top, you split the 4 corners in the center world before the center, and then you have the center, okay, where there's a place in the center, a dot in the center that blocks everything from going, and then the layer underneath, the passage, the 3 lines, starting the U.S. flag, okay? Now he cuts the different star. The star that's going to connect to make sure these pyramids connect inside the oceans, because there's ground now and he needs this, I forget, it's just a lot of stars on it, just a whole lot of points. And he puts this in like porcupines, so it holds on to the ice that comes down from the iceberg that has earth in it, that hasn't been shaped yet. Don't forget, it comes from the past times. The past times are pyramids, so when they do fall down, they all fall in pyramid shapes. If you ever take a look at the snowflake, you'll understand. When snow piles up and there's only 1 pile, makes a round around, a point on top, looks like a pyramid, but it's a round. So it becomes a Hershey kiss. Curled at the top, of course, because it dropped out. And the last point just melted over, and it was okay, there was no points. No points to do with. No points in the matter. They didn't win the game. They didn't get no points. They lost. They didn't lose no points. They were just further away from the one ahead of them. But the point they did lose is showing up to the ball game for half of every inning they played. So they lost half a GBL, half a gerbil. The other team won the gerbil. So they get a full gerbil and they get a full point to move up. Or do they get a full point? They end up with only half a point. Because in one of the games of sports, the other team doesn't score when you're playing. It's you or them, 5 and 5. I think it's ping pong. White balls, 2 in your hand. Shape of their game, it's the shape of the earth. There's a netting in between, which is the passage of the Christ. So this is what they do. So they put on the islands on the other side. They couldn't really put anything on the outsides, because those are the oceans that run around the bones. that take every island and separate the islands now. Now they have the under and the over. And that was good. So God called out to Noah, are you gathering the animals 2 by 2? 2 men, 2 women, 2 children? 2 great-grandfathers, 2 grandfathers. Rows, 3 rows of the Rubik's Cube. Turn it. Another 3 rows. Stop. The rest is opposition. 3 and 3, 9. 9 and 9 is 18 ratio. 18 ratio. The opposition is 36 of creation. Times the 10 God is at 360 degrees that goes around in time. So God speaks to Noah, and he's loading up the animals and everything. And he's on the boat that he built. And everybody's laughing. He says, it never rains in Africa. It doesn't rain in Africa. The African king couldn't understand. So then the African king, he went, he smoked a joint so he can open up his mind. And God spoke to him, and he told him, take my people to the land of the Pharaoh, where they fallow the lands, so they learn to understand, to feed their mouths to eat, to prosper and have children, and to grow like trees, and to branch out and to have families, because every family and association had their own island Galactica. Dinosaur bones. From the first part of creation, not even on this earth. They came out of the ice, fell onto the earth. We thought the earth was 10 million years old or 10 billion years old. No, it's the ice in the sky. Noah loaded up the animals. And the African king says, what are you doing? And then he goes back up and he speaks to God and he says, you must deliver. The deliverance. Deliver the Jews to fallow the lands. So he loaded up the animals on the boat with Noah. Nobody else wanted to help. Everybody else thought he was crazy. And Noah took off into space with his boat. There was no water. The only water he floated on was the Spirit of God that was in the air that left him afloat. And he moved in and he sent out the dove of love. D-O-V, L-O-V. L-O-V is 54. D is 8 less, 1 heaven. 54 is 46. Mars and Saturn, the reflection on the phone of the octagon. He was coming here. He was bringing the Jews here. They were the animals. They were the Jews in the jungle. They were the animals of the jungle. They can hear, see, think, and read vibrations. They were just like the animals. They knew when it was going to snow. They knew when it was going to rain because they were told. In a 14-day forecast, it never is right. Because it's all depending on how you are in your mind. It's based on the temperature and how it will show up outside. 14 days, right into the center of the moon. Center of the moon means you reach the O in the passage. The O is a circle like this. It's an empty space connecting this hand to this hand. I gotta know. That's it. In the O you put a Y. Because you're splitting to 2 sides. David and Goliath. Holding on to 2 sides. Fighting the Z and the A. But since it was Y and O in the center, Y and O, row 11. We knew it was coming in. Z, Y, O, A, B, Ziad. The passage is the E. B and E, the cross on the dice. M is the 14th letter. The cross of the Christ. Once you come to the cross of the Christ, you have landed. Now all you have to do is be born. So use the N. You have Zion. Sion in Africa. Sign on, sign up. It's a word that will last forever. The Zionists. Zion equals 64. Cross 4. Reflection of Mars. God being the devil. Because he's good inside of you. But when he gets there and you got to think in your mind and decide, he becomes the devil. Then he becomes good again. Then he becomes the devil. And then you decide. Because you got the last shot. You're on earth, not me. I only came here in spirit. I'm the Holy Ghost, the white ghost inside. The sperm that turns into a pearl that goes into your head. Where it sits upon a bed of clams, because the clam had to hold the pearl. And inside was a little piece they called the scallop. And the scallop to catch the electricity for the little oyster that was thinking for you. the gray and dark black and green oyster. Oyster? Don't stare. You staring at me? Where's the steer? You steering me wrong? Zion equals 64 and Israel equals 64, but Israel and Jews is a short. Is 64 and 51. 115. The power outage to plug in your computer. 11-5. K, E, the key of life. And K has the A in it. So it comes from the first world into this world. From on one side, the K goes to the other side. But in the other world, the R was before. Because the R had the only leg to walk. It was the Gimel. It was the third letter. But in this world, it was times 6. It became the 18th letter. The one spirit of the 8 around by 45 equals 360. We had a 4.5 earthquake last night. And that's not done because the spirit of the moon is 28. But its reverse cycle is 82 and 8.2 on the Richter scale. So, Noah sent out the dove, and the dove came back with a leaf. Once you got the leaf, you know the contract is set. You got the paper, you got the tree, you got the Torah, you got the spirit of life, you can breathe, you're coming down, and slowly the boat landed on a mountain, because it was a new world for Noah. He didn't know any better. 7,286 years ago. How do I know? Because the first time that it started is that time. Because at that time, it was the right time. 7 and 2 is 9. 8 and 6 is 14. You got the 9 birth, and you got the cross of Christ. 2 by 7 is the 2 7 worlds on the dice, 1 and 6. 2 plus 7 is the 9 birth. 9 and 6 is the reverse man of birth. 9 and 6 is 15, the letter O. Man's O for life, his bones, and the water he lives in, the ocean of salt, and the murky waters inside his brain. The difference in the temperatures of our body, the high and low blood pressures, is the same thing as a mechanical tool or an air pressure machine. So, Noah came out around 972.86. So, 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 8 is 17, which is the queen. Plus 6 is 23. BC, the 3, okay, is Christ. And he has to have the 2 on each side of him, calling it 3 dice. He made creation. When he made creation with this dice, there's 2 on the outside, it becomes this dice. And now they all have to be this dice to surround by 4 corners that one spirit thought who you are by the spirit matrix. So no matter how you turn in life, you're always in the center of everything. Just on one angle, you're a little bit more off. When it's square, you're a little bit more off. The distance between here and here is the angle. You see the distance between here and here, how much it is, and how little it is here? Now a straight line is longer than the angle line. But the angle line, okay, in this life is longer. Because you measure your TV, and they give you longer. So it's like the opposite. 23, if I remember, is minus 5 Celsius. Minus 5 and plus 5. When you start, it's minus 5 plus 5. God goes on the tracks at short line, because he's going to make the Jupiter in the middle of the table. The middle of the table is one like this, and then the cross in the center. So it's 8 plus 4 makes the 12 tribes. The 1 extra 13 is the God Spirit in the center, plus the 2 of Beta makes the 15. Now you've got the egg of Beta, but with more than one number. Now when you have more than one number, one of the numbers will always be 1. One of the numbers will always be 6. One of the numbers will be 2, one of the numbers will be 5, one of the numbers, and they will make 7, 7, 7. And then you get the 2-world spirit. You get 2 of these of your own. One for you, and one for up there. The devil. You and the devil, crisscrossing each other through the Torah to make sure you teach each other right. The red devil and the red God. The cherry Coke, cherry cola. So Noah comes in with the African king, of course, was already here. And Noah was confused. He dropped off his men and he spoke to the king and he says, what is going on? And the king says, I have found you a land to Pharaoh. You can take your animals out in the land. How come the Jews had animals while Pharaoh was there? Pharaoh to Pharaoh the land. How come Pharaoh, okay, didn't have all the Jews as slaves? There was a group that was left out, because that was the contract that the African king signed off the Jews to the new world of Pharaoh, who should teach the Jews of what it is to live in an earth life, in an earth suit. To bore the lands, you should work them hard so you should know how to think, know how to rotate their minds, and pray, because in their prayers they learn. It's through the prayers of the vibrations of the words of which you don't understand, your brain does. And tomorrow you've learned something new and you don't know why. So Pharaoh said, no problem. The bicentennial of God is the 9 lives of the cat, because he is the center cat, times the X and O of the 2 worlds, which is 10 of Roman and X of this world, and O of this world of the B and O railway is 15, making the 25. Times the 9 spaces is 225, times 2 equals 450, 360 degrees plus 1/4, 1 turn of 1/4 to turn 150, 1 wing of the bird, because God is the other one. Otherwise you fly. So Pharaoh said, okay, since I'm the king of the 25, and the 25 is already done and I am center, they will go center all around 25. 8 by 25 is 200. 5 by 4 is 20, times the 10 God, 200, 200 for Pasco. Land on it, you get 400, because now you're free into the land of plenty. 19 by 19 are the 400 years that they landed in bondage. 19 by 19 is 360, 358, plus 1, plus 2, 361. 3, 6, and 1 is 10. 1, 3, and 6, 6, 1, and 3 are the laws of Moses. 6 days, 1 day, 3 days. Awake and asleep, divided by 16 and 8, you put the 24 hours of God on the time awake, because your mind is alive. You're here to survive. So Pharaoh said, listen, you take the dice cube, 75, 75, 75, and you take the other corner, 75, 75, 75, is 150 years. Now you have the other 2 sides, which is the Pharaoh sides, which is the other 152 years. That's 300 billion. They were supposed to let go at 288th year. Why the 288th year? Because in the cycle of the moon, and the extra days that are the leap years that I don't count any at 1.25 days, 19 by 19 is 360 plus 1. 288 times the extra 1.25 days in a year is caused by the month of David 5 by 5 by 5, 125, the 5th of May, in which I got sick. So Pharaoh said, I'll take out my beads and I'll count. So he finishes off at the 300. The 4 corners of 4, okay, is 240 degrees a day. The actual day, if the earth would rotate its sides properly, the way we think it does, it doesn't, that it actually does, because it's not that round. So now Pharaoh has 300. Now the eternal circle of 360 of 1919 moons is 4 corners in one world, but it's a Jew. And to get him in this world, he needs 1 line across and 1 line down. We don't count 1 line because it's in our heart. It's the energy that we live. So instead of using the 6 man, we use the energy number 4, because 4 and 6 is 10. The reflectors of the railroad of reading. Oriental on one side, pay 10% of your brain, or $200, or 10 by 20 in this world. You know. So Pharaoh said like this, 300 years, 288 years, no problem. It came down 285 years. The number of the matrix equal 170. Take away the 10 times is 17. The 17th letter is the queen. 1 and 7, the 1 spirit of the 7th gate. The spirit letting you in. So, FOUR in count is 60. 300 plus 60 of the bowling equals to the 360 of the cycle inside a man. 75, 1 generation, a grandfather to a son. 75, one generation, a grandfather to a son. 75, one generation, a grandfather to a son. 75, one creation, a grandfather to a son. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you have the 4 corners, and you have the 300. Now the one in the center, which is 6. So you calculate it as 4, okay? Because even though the octagon is 8, it only connects 3 here and 3 here. But one of the 3 here are different from one of the 3 here, making this one 2 out of 3 and this one 2 out of 3. But with this one to this one, it makes it 3 out of 4 and 3 out of 4. 343 in your telephone number to the area code. 514, 10. So Pharaoh said, I cannot let your people go. But in the movie Moses, the 10 Commandments, the African king came in and showed him gems and jewels and velvet. Velvet, the color of the purple, is the Hebrews in bondage. Hebrew, a brew of God, a mixture of man, to bring the earthman here because he's a mix. That's why the Jew was last. He wasn't first. 288 times the 1.25 days that is left over from the 13 moons in the 364 days times 288, 360 degrees. They should have let them go. The circle is over now. But they didn't let them go. For 72 more years, 360 degrees, 360 days, 360 years, 36, 18, 18, 36, 18, 18, 9 by 8 is 72, making the H and I from the piano of the 7th gate. Hi, I, it is I. Is a word that says 1551. It speaks about all the vowels and the Jews of how we got here. A, E, I, O, and U. And mixing everybody up. All the poor sheep who did all the wrong things. They put all the wrong things in the Jew's head. That's what made them stronger. They mixed it bad with the good of the Bible. And the vibration wins all the time. 72 years later, they let them go. 360 days into the year. This year is December 25th. 4 days after the 21st. Now we're 4 days behind. Christ must make a supper. On the 12th month is the 21st. On the 19th day, 2 days before that, 1 day before and 1 day after for the rest. The burning of the candle. It also starts 6 days before the 7 days of Hanukkah. Or 10 days of Hanukkah, whatever it is. I don't have that in my map yet. So now the 288 and the 360s and Christ this year of the 12th month, but they call it the 21st day, but the 21st day is actually the 12th day. The 12th to 21 is a cycle of 9. 9 before 2 is 7, the 7th gate, that's where Jesus can be. On the 19th of the 21st equals 40, the game of life, plus the one spirit. He's got the Mediterranean inside of him, the Middle East. What these people in the world are trying to do, now that we finished, let me finish with Pharaoh. So after 360 years, that was it. God says one time around, and that's it. That's all we're going to hold you to, is one time around. And then he came down into the eyes of Moses. The man who saw the good and the bad and the ugly, Clint Eastwood. With his 6 gun on his side and his 10 up here, he kills a man. He kills a man with his bare hands. 10. Plus the 11 who he is, he's 21. He's a dice cube. 1 to 5 added is 21. Add on to 10 again, because you have to add God on now, is 31. 31 in Monopoly, you go to jail. Now they're getting out of Pharaoh, and they're getting out of his hair. So the 10 plagues come. Each one for another vibration and note. I don't know what they are, but I haven't been on the Nile River. But if you look down the Nile River, the spade is our body. He's holding an 8 in his hand with a diamond. Sometimes it's a cord because he's holding you up. It looks like he's pissed off. He's only got one eye because you've got the other eye. That's why our eyes are different. When you go down the Nile River online, more than one site, when I look at it, right as you get to the bottom, there's a spade on the left-hand side. There's an inlet that's exactly like a spade. The Mediterranean is one of the first connects. One of the cards of the world is put there. Now, Moses is out of Africa. The movie Out of Africa, because Moses left. The African Jews, the animals are all Jews. The Jamaicans are all Jews, because J means I am, I have. They were here with the dreadlocks that burned the weed, the hemp that they now smoke, that they knew it was good in life. So they made it bad and hard to get in this world, and they pulled in all these people, and they took the drugs away from everybody, and it cost them more money than anything, and it caused more people in prison, and more ugly people, and more mad people, because the people who make the money, that do the drugs, always spend the money. It's the ones in business that keep it business and treat it like a child and change their diaper. They don't throw it around that easy. They check every cent. So how much fun can you have when now your one spirit is one in one? The Spirit of God and the Spirit of money. M13, O 15, 28, cycle of the moon. N is the passage, 42, the angel of 9, because 5 and 9 pay the same odds and craps, and the letter count is the same, 42 each, making 84, which is 7 times 12. 7 months of 31 days of the 12 months of the year. 741, the 4 is in the center, is a Wednesday, left and right, it's 4 by 4 getting on to Saturday and Sunday, 8 days a week. They knocked out John Lennon because of his yellow glasses. He knew the truth of the sun. Here comes the sun, na 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 na. Here comes the sun. You can see all the rays because you only see the white rays. You're allowed to look into the sun. Your black eyes have to learn about the bright sun. They got to shine, they got to gloss, because that's why you buy the glossy paint, so you can see the black shine in your eyes of the vibrations of your mind. The Jews walked the desert, they came to the mountain. The Africans got their own island. Haiti, AT, or AT&T, it was the transmission, a source of energy. When they take the source of energy to power the world, they take it out of the system. So they're weak. So they gain the power inside the spirit of Beta, black. And they have soul. And they go to church. And they sing well. And they have the long run, because it runs all the way up from Venus, because they're running on Venus power now, over down to the 9th birth. And her, she has a tight hole, because she came here on the big hole. God was the big hole. She was the slit of the moon, the quarter moon. When it turns around, it changes sides. But not only that, it's just a paper on the other side. I'm going to show you the moon if I could. Do I have anything black here? I need black. All I got is this black. And this is blue, and it looks like black. And I looked at it as black, and I hold it up in the light, it's blue. I hold it down, it's black again. What color is it? If I put it in here, I got to hold it right back here. What color is that pen? What color is that pen? Can you actually see what color that is? I mean, you can see, right? You see the pen. I mean, come on. And a little bit further, and how far do you want me to put it back before the color gets a little different? Got a little color in your face. The moon. 3 and 3, and 2 cherries in the center. When you put the life on top of it, these cards fold together. One of the cards will end up going this way. That'll be the 8 and the 8. And in the center, right, in the center, is the first part of the cross. Do you see what happens when I do this? Right? Don't you see? It's 88. How can I do this and how come I don't get anything and find anything when I do it? Maybe I can do it this way. You see the way I split that? It's 8 and 8. 8 and 8. Because I split it. You see the cross, you can't see the other way. But you'll see it on the other side. 88 and 88. And 8 of the word of God, for the heavens of the 3 that mix, it's always 888. In one word, it's 688. 8 times 8, 64 times 8 is 512 megabytes. 5, 1, and 2 is 8. 1, 2, and 5. 1, A, 2B, 5E. Breaking and entering. Because the A, break, the letter R, is in that world. It sounds off. Second to A, but in this world the A is first as a capital. So that means R is a capital back upstairs as a giggle. A and B made Gimel. And Kimmel bread. So I'm going to try and show you this if I could. Like I can go on forever. Once I'm on a roll and I smoke a little and stuff, I start to get on this roll and I don't want to get out of it. So I'm going to see if I can do this. Okay? Now I don't have the right instrument. I need to make the right instrument. I need to make the right instrument. I can't keep breaking up my cards. I need the right instrument. Okay, I got the right instrument. I got it. And I learned this in school in about 4th grade. It's this. It's a boat. One of the ways Noah knew to build a boat is because he did it out of paper. Trees got paper, a lot of leaves, a lot of ideas writing down on the paper. Are the leaves falling? The Jack of Clubs, the mind of everything, the mind, body, and soul, the Jack of Clubs, who holds 3 balls, one straight up here, one over here, one over here. Round it out so you don't understand, but you're missing the rest. Add the letter B. You got to connect the beads. So now, I cut myself out a little piece of paper, and obviously, I lost it. I'm going to cut out another one. Now what happens, I'm going to try and cut this out. Here it is. Okay, it's a triangle. Now what I'm going to do now is I have to draw the Christ, because I have to make a bar down and a bar up to connect this part by this part. Because what they do in Monopoly, they put this corner here, this corner here, this corner here, and this corner here. Now you got the Monopoly board. Now you put this one over here and fold it in. Flat. Flat. B flat. Now you can sing because you understand the tunes, because you understand the story. So now you put this one here for the train, this one here for the train, this one here for the train, this one here for the train. Each one of these has 3 corners. 3, 3, 3, 3, 12. Trains. 3, 3, 3, 3. 24. Now you need the cross of Christ. Cross of Christ. 1. Cross of God. 2. Now you have another, and you have to, excuse me, made a mistake somewhere. I know my numbers are right, but the addition was not right. 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 tribes plus the center 13. 3, 6, 9, 12. 25. We got the queen world now. 12 and 13, the queen and the king. 24. Oh, we have to cross the corners, connecting the corners, because we don't connect the dreadlocks. None of the islands stay together between the oceans of the mountains that we have that separate the lakes, of the bridges we make to get to the next islands, of the planes we take to go overseas. Overland. Overseas. Question that. So now, 3, 6, 9, 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. Now you have 1 row around the Rubik's Cube, 2 rows around the Rubik's Cube, and another row around the Rubik's Cube. 12, 12, and 12. 36. You're missing 4. Now you have to put a Rubik's Cube in each corner. 1 hole, the square. But you put it flat, so it takes up 2 corners to connect the corners. Now that you put the board into the angles. Forgot the corners. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is addition to equaling to the 40 is when the octagon goes center to be able to connect. If the octagon stood square, it would point to 4 corners. The flats would point towards the trains. So they put 1 octagon over the other one, making 16 points in the land of 3, in the land of 4 corners. 16 by 4 is 64, which is the board of chess 32 and 32. When you're starting at 5 and go 32 in the alphabet, you get back to 5 again. 3 and 2 is 5. 32 and 5 is 37. 17 and 20 in the middle of the roulette is the 17-20 black, the inside of the baseball. Do you know where it goes in? 17 and 20 black. You see? Can't have both of them. makes 37. 16 and 19, standards and poors. 17 and 20 is the queen and the world. And 18 is the race, is the man of the God who's going to come and save us. And 21 is the one dice cube he plays with, 1 to 6. You attach a line in each, looks like 1, 1, 1. But when you draw the Christ across this way, because there's a line on the board automatically separating all the numbers. So instead of being 1, 1, 1, it's 1, 1, 1 connected to 1, 1, 1. You got 6. Now you put a square around it. Now you got a 6 inside 1. So now I have 1 over 6. Because 1 is the whole of what the 6 is inside. Like making a cake. So now we have the 40. Don't forget, if this was a triangle, a three-sided triangle, which ends up making a hat at the end for the king. Where do you think they got the hat from? God gave them all the ideas. This is the 3 weeks of the moon. 3 times 19 cycles, 57. M-O-O-N, 57. 28, M-A-N, 28. This is in a triangle. 3 points and a top and a center, but they need a hole, a small hole for the beta world. That's why the female, apparently girls who are smaller, they're a little tighter downstairs, because God came in with a big hole. That's why it's the white bitch. That's why it's the white queen. That's why North America is 2. N-A is tuna. Tuna is 2. Two of the same. Because it's A. Means 2 of 1, 2 of the same. Twins. The Britons and the United States. They are mixed up with others because of the time of who came here first and did what. Okay? I do not know the internal espionage of the whole thing because I can't go all over the place. We're going to take this and we're going to put it. We only got 3 corners. The 3 corners of the Hamantash. Because it comes in like this. Look. There's no moon. There's a moon here. But look, watch. Oh, my video went out. My video went out. Please come back. So watch. Are you watching? I gotta get a black paper. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. So as it turns out, and the moon, and if you look down below, the moon is coming 2 weeks later, and you can't see it. The moon comes, and now the moon is blocked down here, but it's up there. And then because of the triangle, she comes out of one area, connecting the 8 into 14. 2 worlds of 7 and 7. This is the 7 card. It's the 8 because it shows you both sides. It tells you 2 sides of the story when you can't go 2 sides because only the octagon has both sides, but he only sends out 1 side at a time. So that's number 14. The reason for the 5 is because 5, 5, 5. On each level is the 5. The 2 5s of the gates, 75, 7, 1 and 6, 5, 2, 4, 3. 2, 5, 4, 3, 3, 4. They're all 5s. They're only 5s. All the corners are doubled. When you go to play pool, you don't know how they built the table. Didn't you take a look where all that metal pieces are and the diamonds are? It's a clue about this earth. That's the shape of the earth, the pool table. A little bit like the racetrack. Not like a half mile, but more like a mile track that goes one time around 360 degrees. That man goes. The separation of time is the moon, 4 days, and the Magen David, 1.25 days, the 5th of May, the 5th to the 5th to the 5th that I got sick, the 125th day. There were 240 days left in the year of the 24 hours of time. On the 21st of December, I will be 7 years, 7 months, and 2 7s of the moon. Right in the middle of 14, the cross of Christ. I will be 21 again. 21 in the 49 that I am. Makes 59, 69, 70. 7 times 15 is 105. That's poker, that's bluff. That means I know the lines of life. 70 being that my initial is R, and I am Raphael, Ronnie, Ronald. They sometimes call me Johnny. They mix up my name. They think I come from the valley, which is a jack. And I will show you. Can you see 70? Okay. Let me do it a little bit different. Okay, because that one's a little bit hard. That one's a little bit hard. And I don't want to be hard on you because I don't know if you're a girl or a guy, and I don't want to screw anybody because I'm the center of attention. I'm number 5. You're number 1. You can turn me off right now. It's all your decision. So now what we do is we go ahead and we bring it just a little closer. Do we see the 70? You see the 70? It's the R. With one leg to stand on. It's got a straight back. Not great balance because it's all up in his head. All he has to do is put 1 foot forward. Once he has that foot forward, he balances out, he brings it upstairs. He becomes 70, or he becomes ole, low, in low speed, to pick up the slow vibrations of the turtles, because my mind is slow. We're slow on the intake, and we're ready to go fast. And bipolar switches that all around. Now the speed is so fast and the information is coming in, I go to the hospital. On May 5th, my first day was May 6th, the 126th day of the year. 1, 2, and 6 is 9. I'm being reborn again. The 12th letter is L. The 6th letter is F. I got my face and I got my wings. And ailes and wing in Francais, in French. It equals 18 is 666. But in this world, you need 3 dice. 2 dice you have. So you have to use a higher letter. The L equals 12. You get out of the hospital on the 19th. Or the 21st. We're still in May. 19 plus 5 in May is 24. 19 plus the 21, if I got on the 21st, plus the month of May 5 is 26. I'm connected to Venus with the power of 6, the mother and lover of the mind. The energy to go to both sides and understand the difference between the truth and not. Why? Because when you're playing football, like you have a mind, there's 60 yards on each side. But you don't own their end zone until you get the ball into it to get your 6 points of what you're worth, of the mug and dove of the mind that made the plans of the quarter moon, of the quarter of who you are. Because there's 4 cards in the deck and you're only 1 man. Each card is a quarter. They count for the quarter of the moon, the spade, and the heart. The club and the heart, the diamond, the club, the spade, and the heart. Because the diamond connects them all. If you ever look at a diamond, a diamond's in the skies. It's got 3 clubs on it, connecting the energies from down here to up here. 1 to 7, 1 to 3, 3 to 9. He connects all the way around. He doesn't go to Saturn. He doesn't need the Earth. He's connecting you upstairs. The diamond in the heart. Clubs are the weakest suit in bridge, but it seems to bridge everything together in this. It's weak because it works so hard to do what it has to do in passing on of the 1 spirit of the 7th gate of the 3 creation of the 9 birth. 9 and 3 is 12, 9 and 3 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3, and 9 and 3 is 12, which is the L letter of the face of man. 70 plus the value of the letter of the 70 plus the 18 ratio is 88. The 3 5x5s of my soul and my spirit and who I am as a whole in my heart, because it's my heart that decrypts into the blood. The mind cools it off and sends the information because the blood is hot, and the little brains all over your body can't take the temperature, so it goes into the head, it splits up, it knows what temperature each part of your body needs, and it sends that blood down that way. Herbert Hoover, H.H. H.H. Herbert Hoover. The 31st President of the United States. 11-9. 88 plus 21 plus 28. I don't know how this works yet. You have to give me time. Okay? Oh yeah, here's the way it works. Because now I've fully connected to the four corners, and I'm 777, my age is 49. 49 and 70 is 119. Herbert Hoover, 31st President. I'm coming to be, and he's taking out the Hoover Dam. The next move in taking over the world. Because the Veda card, the Las Vegas, the marriage to the world is what's under the ground. Is because of the true spirit that keeps us above. It doesn't let us float, but when we fall on the ground, there's a surface that really doesn't exist. Because we don't exist. It's only the pressure of the energies that make our skin pulse, push together. But there's so many pores around our skin, you can see it pours on out. And then it falls off the follicles because it has to renew. Because it's in a pool of water that's closely knit under the lamb's skin because it was soft. Just like their fur. They couldn't use leather, but they used lamb for our skin. They kept changing it. Man became the lamb. He became the ewe. And that's why they sacrificed it for the skin and the bodies they live in now that they didn't live in before. This year is a double call for 9/11. If the moon says 82, I'm looking for 6 earthquakes and as high as 8.2. Somewhere near the end of the World Series. Probably in the 7th inning stretch, because the numbers in the 7th inning stretch are 39-52. 39, 52, 91, 1-13. Why did I add it that way? Because there were 2 separate equations on 2 pieces of paper that I brought together to add them up for the total. So my mind would know the total of how it thought from back and forth. If you can't go back, your fourth will be wrong because it'll be unique. To have 1 behind you, to have today, is to have 2. It's not unique. You can come into the tomorrow, which is unique, with the 2 from yesterday's, and bring it into tomorrow to make 3, and then tomorrow you can pulsate and think, and your vibrations will balance you for today that is unique because of yesterday and the day before, because of the clocks that hit at 12. When the clock hits at 12, it splits the 1 and 2, the 2 spirits. It becomes 102. Valentine, V-A-L-E-N-T-I-N-E, Tiny Tim, equals 102. Blackjack, add up all the cards to 91, add the ace at 11 as a total equation, and you have 102. Just put the 2 of them together. It's 204. Now how do we divide that? 51, 51, 51, 51. 17 Queen, 14 Cross of Christ. 51. A-E-I-O-N-U. 51. This is a funny world because it's a you world, because everything in your mind is coming back to the other world, but you haven't left. So that's why they call it the you world. And we're the sacrificed lambs because of the skin we wear. And the lamb that we don't even know, or the sheep, or whatever it is. The wool, I don't know who it is. So anyways, this curve that you saw on the club here is because 246 goes back, the Magen David goes back to your information that comes back here. That's to go back to that world, the process to send back you the vibrations that your brain can figure out, but you haven't the faintest idea what's going on, because you ain't thinking right. Hoover Dam, the Vega card. You remember when Bugs Bunny, they wanted to make that highway and they wanted to blow up just the sands? He was only in the sands. They could have went around them anyways and made a bypass, but they didn't, because he was the only hole in the ground. He had the bunny ears and he went all the way down. Brought his carrot with him with the orange sun. Vitamin C, vitamin A. I drink a lot of that stuff, by the way. I drink all the juices of the world for all the animals on the boat of Noah so I can reflect on the animals that are in light that reflect the light that came before. The newest of the updated dinosaurs. The knowledge of the spirit of the free and the wild, where no one asks for a penny, and the exchange is your life. So you go back and you take another life and you start all over again. But you know all this, and you live like the animal, and you have the instincts like the animal. You're not pissed off because your legs are good and your head is tall, and you're a giraffe, and you're looking over everybody, and you're eating up high, and you're high on everything, and you're eating grass all the time, and you're high, if you're eating grass and you're high, hey, pretty good world we live in, eh? You rhyme the things that tells you what's right and wrong in the song. 49 plus the 119 and the 18 carries the A before it. He's an 8 plus the God 10. It carries the 1 still before this number, but you're in the other world. You don't see it because it doesn't double over, because it comes through this, the octagon. The spider web in the mind, Spider-Man, the web of the mind. So we add the 1 onto the 18, and in blackjack, the ace to 18 is 19. So now he's the moon, just like the queen. The one spirit of the seventh gate passed it through the moon. But now I am the moon. I'm a hunchback of Notre Dame carrying the moon on my shoulders. But wait a second. In blackjack, ace carries you as far as you can go. So now that I'm 19, because the spirit never goes away, you always use the ace to go up in value of your choice, depending how you need to use it. So if I'm 19, you have the decision. You can't be 19. Is it on Copper Mountain, Sugar Mountain? Listen to all these songs. They tell you all the secrets. But he reaches 20. And when he reaches 20, he's in the land of plenty. Because on 20, you're in the 6th dice. You're the number 2 in the 6th dice. Okay? Because the number 3 in the 6th dice would make you 21. But the minute you start to think, you have a child into this world, the street has been made. RU equals 39, 13, 13, 13 equals 7, 7, 7, 20, 20, 20. So automatically, once you reach 2, 1 is behind you. The 3 is in front of you. So now you're 21. 3 by 6, 21. You're in as a visitor. 21 outs, 7 innings, the 7th inning stretch. 7, 7, 7. 7 times 7 is my age of 49. To complete the mug and dovet shape, I will multiply it by 7 again, because that's all you can hold is the piano keys. So you bring out a little bass in here to bring out H and I, the heaven of I, of the sands, of the salts, of the seas, of the mind that whirls around, of the spirit that comes in, and the vibrations that move, so the head can understand and the words can come out of your mouth and you see nothing moving except for your hands. 7 times 49 is 343. 3 points of 2, 6. To 4 of the octagon, to 3 points of 2, 6. 3, 4, 3. 3 and 4 is 7. 3 and 4 is 7. 3 by 4 is 12 to that side. 3 by 4 is 12 to that side. You have an L on this side, and an L in French is a wing. And now you got an L on this side, and you're ready to fly. You got 2 spirits, but you don't fly at all. But it keeps you stable because you know it all. And that's what keeps you going. So you're flying all the time. But you're doing fine. And you're not always flying. Because when you're flying, it's always in the mind. And it's nobody's business. It's just my own. Because it's my mind. And I mind my business. So I don't tell anybody. So nobody knows. So we add the 343 back to the original number of 70. Which is 413. 4 and 1 makes to 5. 4 and 3 makes to 7. 4 minus 3, 4 minus 3, 3 minus 4 is 101. The inside and the outside of your brain working at 0, never touching 1 because the 1 is coming in, but you can pick up the message halfway at the trains. 5. You go the other way, you pick up halfway at the trains. 5. Because it's got to pass the second door. 4. 4 and 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Times 4 is the chess game. 64, Israel, Zion, 0. 0. 64 plus God, because you're on the trains, it's 5. It's the 5 train. 10 and 5 is 15. Je, it's the game of life in the jungle. And we're all playing the same game. We all have the same heads, but for some reason, your animals in your jungle are not like the animals in my jungle. I sort of talk to the animals in my jungle. I want to know if they want to have another puff on the joint, because I can't find my cigarettes or my lighter. So we had 413. 413, to understand it, from 360 degrees is 53. Reverse this, 88. You reconnected the heavens again. 5 and 3 is your 5 and 3 dice turned on the side, not up, because they go minus and plus. If you put the 4 up and the 3 down, it's a 1. If you put the opposite, it's a 1. It's 101. Because in the center of 101, 5 and 5, you're vibrating because of what comes from upstairs 10 to your 5, and between 5 and 5 of 1. Jews, 66, 51, is you who thinks, and that's the 9 card. The 1, 3, 5, ace, and the 9, I, okay, are the only cards with the spirit 1 inside of it. But in the dice, of the 2 dice you throw in life, that's all you play. You have 2 decisions, yes or no. Your brain will think, but you're only going to say one thing. Otherwise, you're skating. And it's starting to melt. Fiscal, e te põe dans neige. Te põe dans neige. Fiscal. Saint Calix, Saint Jérôme, Saint Sophie, Saint Sauveur, Saint Adèle. Combien de saints que j'ai besoin de dire? How many cities do I have to say that are called of the saints in the land of Quebec, the reflection of France, another world that was split up between the French Indians that were here? I don't know how that works. It's just a vibration that came into my head. That's why I said it, so I believe it. Because it's only a story, and we know that anything that is a story can be written and can be read. Then you're on reading railroad, or it's a story that was written and you didn't read it at all. Now you're out to lunch. And you're reading. And while you're reading, you can't be reading because your mind can't do the 2 things at once. You read and you read. You pray and you read. You pray and you don't eat while you pray. And you don't eat while anybody else is praying, because the vibrations of the move take the whole of you in there. If your numbers go in with the other group and you're not doing the same, you're in for a correction. The X in here, the Illuminati, the reason for the Illuminati is because they put everything the wrong way. Aubergine. Virginia, nice to be at home, nice to be at home. Mary, the Virgin Mary. Virginia, there's something about Virginia that God threw in before time, which I forgot to mention, the pyramids that started falling all over the earth. Before the rains, there was sand. There was too much sand, and he filled the oceans and some lakes, and he threw down pyramids from the sky, carved in ice. The Mayan pyramids, the Ginza pyramids, all the pyramids of the world fell down. But of course, they held an umbrella, because God didn't defrost the whole iceberg. He melted it to an icicle. And the icicle slowly froze and lowered the pyramids right into place. They were built in place, and they were carved. They weren't big blocks the way everybody thinks. Take one apart and you'll see. Some of them are just the core and shell, and then they just redid the interior. Interior decorating, when you do the inside of the house, it doesn't mean you take off the walls. I mean, you can do your toilet, but if you do your toilet, you're still going to be full of shit. Because otherwise you wouldn't do the toilet. I'm not in for blowing my nose, but I've been blowing the shofar and the shul for where I am for 10 times 360 for 36 years, 9, 18, and 18. But 18 and 18 is the center. So I'm 19, or 9, and 17. 7. 9 and 7 equals 63. 19 and 17 is 36. 9. 666 LF, the 2 wings of a bird. When it's a car, it needs 4 wings, it needs 4 tires. For every leg you have, you need another wing. Man has 2 legs, he doesn't have any wings, he's got his arms, but beside your body, you're held up The gravity. The gravity to life. The poorness in life is the gravity holding you down. You're not supposed to be like this. First of all, you're too big, and you hold too much water, and your skin is heavy from the land, but that's the best we could have done. So we let you put some mustache, so the whiskers, because you can think this way. The letters come out of here. My hand thinks, I now have a new connection to Venus. My Venus. My Vega card. Lake Mead and the Mormons. The more man, the merrier. The more men, and marry her. Or marry all of them. More men, more women, for less men. Polygamy. Pull my leg, I'll pull yours. So that's what it is. Polygamy. What it means is I have no place to go. And you treat me well. And we have kids, lots of kids, so they can farm the land. And we can have the cattle. And the kids can milk the cattle so I can sleep until 9 o'clock because I got a headache. We fucked too much last night. And now we're having our 7th child, filling in the gap. First it was a slit. Now it's opened up like a moon, but it's a dark moon. Because out from the dark moon is the bright light of your sun. The new sun, 9/11, comes in as an X with the 9 legs of Earth, which is comes into the world as a 9 in Roman numerals from the Roman lands, and once he gets into the world, he passes through the Spirit of God, and now man is 11. From 9 birth to 11. And now, when he's ready for life, he'll be 6 and 5, but right now, he's 9 and 2, changing to 8 and 3, because he's part of the 8 heaven and he's the 3 creation. 38, S&S. 38, S&S, the Spirit of 76. 38, 114. KD, craft inner king driving. 114, 57, 57 equals the noon of the moon. Lindsay, Monday. Halloween, the first day when the moon shined, had to be on a Monday. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I can't do that. I'll give you a quick briefing on what happened. Oh my God. Oh. The Mediterranean is number 41 in Monopoly. It's number 24 and 17, the Queen, 24 is the X. It takes that amount to get around. The month of October is the 10th month, the 31st day is the Monday of the month of the demons. Monday backwards is demons of diamonds, because the electricity of the 4 prongs of the diamonds came in through not the club but directly into this world, so they were all around and no control. Once the club came in and surrounded all the bulls, because the club now surrounds, you see the club connects 1, 3, 7, and 9, but it traps. It's 1, 3, 7, and 9, but it connects 1 and 3, 1 and 7, 7 and 9, 3 and 9. It's on the pyramid, both sides. Okay, there's a separation and the line of Christ up there, a thin wall between you and the next world. That's all it is. 2, 4, 6, 26, 24 day, 26 man, 26, 24 is the 50 years, the golden years. The cat and the dog. The cat, CAT, communication, angel, transmission, creation, 3, 1, and 20, 24, and the dog is 26, or the dog queen is 6, 20 through 6, or get up at 6 in the morning, go to bed at 10 at night, and wake up at 6, 6, 20 through 6, which 6, 22, 6 is actually 6, 8, 8, 6. The 22, which reverses to the 11, because of the 2 sides of the dog and the cat, because you're working the mind, the other side is the cat. What happens is 8 and 8, okay? You understand that? But that's not it. There's more to it. Because when 22, the letter B means life. 12 and 22 is 34. 3 and 4 is 7. It's the 101 world. 3401E. 1. I1 or the number 1. O-N-E. They're all spelled different, but they all sound the same. The O carries the W with it. Because without the W, you don't need the O. You don't need the moon. There ain't no birds. Nobody's coming down here. You don't need no signs, no spirits, and nothing. We'll just wipe it all up and freeze it and send it back up again. Now we'll move back to Africa, where we could smoke some weed and hang around in the jungle. And out of the jungle came George. Curious George, of course. Came out of the jungle? No. When George comes out of the bush, he was fucked up. Didn't you see what happened when George came out of the bush in the movies? It took him a long time before anybody understood, and they separated apart. But I'll only understand when the red god comes back down as the evil demon. Evil to one, good to the other. That's not fair. Well, it wasn't fair while we were here. He played the demon all the time, but only one team turned demons. The other team turned love. Now he's got to turn the demons back into love again to rebalance. Black, gray, and white. Oh, I'm sorry, and red on each side. But white is all around, it's the background. Whatever you put in front of it is going to show the true color. Anything you put on black, well, depending if it's a material or something, but irregardless. Ow, you, oh, how, who, oh, now. 23rd letter and the 15th letter. Beta creation of the old world, the moon's passing. 38, the number of the pig. 38, 38, 38, 114. 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. Jesus Christ. 3 by 3 is 9, by 3 is 27. The other 3 makes all the worlds. You got to stop down here, because your world gets tripled anyways. Spirit, angel, and man. S-A-M. M-A-S. The Mass of Christmas. The Mass is because we're under a circus tent. And Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack-o'-lantern, Jack of cards. Jack me off, jerk me off. Jack and Johnny and John Doe, Jane of Tarzan in the jungle, swinging on the ropes. He was Tarzan, he wasn't George. George is the 7th letter. Tarzan is the 2 letter. He's the spirit of Beta. The other one's the Beta, God. He deals with himself and he chooses on his own. In between the spirits of Beta. That Beta, like you see on the dice, has 2 corners, and when you flip the dice around, 2 of the corners double up. You only get 2. She gets 2 and 2, hers and yours. You get hers, but that would make me you. If you add them up, it's got 4, and that's you. Since you're 6, you got 10. You got the 10 world of God, the 10 world of God, the 10 world of years. 10 by 10 is 100. Times the other line from that world that goes this way. I'm going to go this way 10, this way 10, 100. This way 10, N is 1,000. That's love, that's luck, that's not luck. Now, we do the last line to cross of Christ, but that's all the energies. One line goes down to there and there, then one line goes that way to serve them, one line comes this way. We get the mind from them, we get the energy from Christ. We get the mind from Mars because Mercury is above it, the red god from our heart. The queen, Venus, that's up above, is the spirit and the soul of the earth. She comes down and goes over this way, 90 degrees. 360 plus 90 is 450. 25 times 9 legs of the cat for the X and O value is 225 times 2 is 450. 90 degrees more, or 1/4 turn of the moon. We're there right now. This is it, my friends. All the numbers in 2 hours of videos. When I got out of the bathroom before, after unloading my load so I could reload, I thought I was going to be here 5 minutes, and I'm here 2 hours. Now, hold on a second. I've been in 3 hours. Oh, but I've been on the video for 2 hours. Well, who am I talking to? Talking to the video? Holy fuck, they ain't even there. I didn't send it out. I didn't send the message. How can they receive the message if I didn't send the message? Well, wait a second. Hold on. I feel a vibe. I feel a vibe. Oh, look at that. 1 view. Somebody has just started my video. Now we're talking together. Hi! How you doing? No smoking, please. Oh, please, you have an extra cigarette? Can you pass it over? I have no hair. I bear the skin of the lamb. I'm not afraid to show my true face, for we come out of the African jungle. We had all the colors describing the different energies. So when we're missing one, we can attract it by seeing the face of another of the energy we might be missing. The colors of the jungle, the totem pole, the lines of the lions, the bear's den, the beaver, what the beaver does in winter and what the bear does in winter, and the beaver is next to a dam. A dam is on the nickel. The dam is in the middle. He's 5. To one side he goes 5, he comes back 5. To the other side it's 5, he comes back 5. He went out 5, came back 5, it's 10. He went out 5, came back 5, it's 10. He's 20. But the outsides are only 5 and 5. That makes 30. 30 on the game board is go to jail. If you're sitting in the middle of Hoover Dam, and you go to one end, and you got another guy coming to the other end, and you're in the middle of 555, that's 125 days. On the 125th day of the 2005, of the 5th month of the 5th day, which was a Thursday, the passing over of the Wednesday, I saw Mary, Jesus in the sky. She told me 7286, you have to marry your ex-wife. So I called her up, and I called my aunt, and I told my mother, and I was all over the place, and I didn't know where I was, and she didn't want to marry me, and I found out I had to remarry my mind, because my mind is a female, and I fuck her all the time, but I never feel good about it, and I always get screwed back. The mind of time. Again, the 688, what this means is this 6 has an 8 world, this 6 is an 8 world, because it has a 2 light, and this world has a 2 light. That means the 2 light has the 8 reflection that keeps it connected to the 2 worlds. 6, 8, 8, 6, 8, 6, not all 4 of them, but you could use all 4. 64 times 6, 384. 384, now I'm going to do this, because it's easier. 384. 384, which is 26 away from 400, eh, Moses? 384 times 6. 6 times 400, because it's closer to calculating between the 25s. 25 1/4. 6 times 400 is 2,400. Times 6 times 16 is 96 of man. 2,400 take away 96 is 2,304. 2, 3, 4. If you know anything about music, 432. If you know anything about golf, 324, 342, number of divots on a ball. 3, 4, and 2 is 9. 2, 3, and 4, you must put the 2 on the other side, because if it's on one side, the 2's got to be inside of you. The heaven is connecting to the other world so that your mind can think from the 2 mother. So our total was 2304. 23 a creation of the 4 corners of the first square of life before anything started. 23 and 4 is 27. 2 7s is 14. 2 and 7 is 9. 14. 9, you got 23. Then we're recreating everything we just started with. 2, 3, and 2. 2 of 3. 2 of 3. Of 2. 2, 2, and 2. The 8 off is on the inlet and the outlet. I've been talking too much numbers. The 96 and the 2304, if I didn't make a mistake, the 96 is www, 23, 23, 20, excuse me, the 96 is 23, ww for one world, ww for the other world, world creation of man, world creation of the angle of man, ww1, ww2. If you bring ww3 in it, you've got the left, the right, and the center fighting. You'll never be able to think. That's this year. Only in numbers. But I spoke more words than I did numbers tonight, because I slowed down something and readjusted something, because I know I'm writing and I can't read it myself. It looks like NIGIL, and they think you're all stupid, but when I was writing, my mind knew it was right, so whatever came out on the board was all a mistake. My fingers and my mind couldn't make it together. One was going faster than the other. I lost the race, and everything was wrong and nobody read it. 2, 3, 4. 3 to 2 is 5. 3 to 4 is 7. A dice cube on all the sides is 5, except for the 1 and 6, because the 1 dot is in the center, married to the 6 for the rest of your life. And then you go 6 feet down, because you were 6 feet up. It makes 0. You got 2 feet up when you're buried, and 1 that stood with you for life is 3. You've been recreated all over by going into the ground and leaving 1 body for the 2 feet up in the other world. So you're not an animal anymore, like we are in this world. And we go back to the other world, and we understand the circle of life, and unless we go off the beaten path and we go and swim with the alligators, you never know. But if you wait behind a rhinoceros or a hippopotamus, I think it is, I'm not sure which one. And the hippopotamus is the expression of his 4 teeth. His teeth, his mouth, I'm not sure where he fits in. He's gray. He's got that big head. It's like the other end of the baseball. I'm not sure exactly. But have you ever looked at a bottle that's got this and this curve? He's got that on his body. The one round and the other round coming together, the connecting moons. Because when I showed you that card before, right? There's a moon on this side, and there's a moon on this side, and there's a moon here, and there's a moon here. There's 4 moons. We got 4 corners. You need 8 moons. You need everything to go around. How can they move with 1 moon? The moon keeps showing up all over the place. Then they call it a black hole. The entries are here. You see the entry up here and down here, where you can see it opening? Those are the entries for the other world. The round thing they're showing is how the tree works, how the mind works, and how the tree works. It's the same thing. It's the same process. You see the way there's a Y in the road? It makes a Y and a straight back, because when you come into this world, what happens, I really don't want to rip anything, but I can write, rip and write, ripe and rip, the ripe banana, rip it open. When you're coming into this world, what was I doing? What was I doing? Ripe banana, rip, write. What was I doing? What was I doing? The shape of a banana. When you come into this world, when you come into this world, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Cherry cola, the energy of the heavens. Look at his color. He's not the yellow energy. He is the passage for the yellow energy. He is the red spirit that the yellow energy pushes of the electronics inside, turning in this color. And underneath are all the vines that connect all the glands. And in the front is a turn-up, because they tune up from 2, turn this upside down, and 2 upside down is 5. And 5, we got 2 quarters and 2 corners, and now we've got open handles to go. Because now to go out of the line, it's an electrical shock. When you get too close, you'll be shocked in the brain. And that's why they have the horses. And the horses, they have a thin line, like this. And the minute they touch that thin line or look at it, they run away. Because they know that the electricity that put them in this life will kill them in the next. So they stay away. The horse, the Clydesdale, Bonnie and Clyde, Hoover Dam, 555. You put one on this side, the generator. You put one on that side. You ever look at Hoover Dam? Lake Mead, the Vega card, Bugs Bunny? It's under the ground. It needs to be changed. This is the year of the cycle. 19, I don't have the calculation, by 19 is 300. 19 by 19 is 360. 361, don't count the spirit. It's God doing the action. We're not counting it. 19 and 19 is my video disappeared. I'm going to look at it here. 19 by 19 is 360. Okay? Times 10 of his own God, because that's what he's going to have to do in his energy to transfer it, is 3,600. Plus the Queen Beta, the one spirit of the 7th gate, times the 10. Is that what it is? No, excuse me. The one spirit of 6 because beta didn't exist until man came. Man's number comes with beta's number. 1, 6 reflects on the sides all around 2, 5. So we get 360, 3,600 years, 160 years, 3,760 years. But we get 3,000 years because 30 was to come into the world on go. 3,000 years. 15 and 15 of the egg is 30 times 10 God times 10 God is 3,000. Man, 600, because there is no queen God on this earth added yet. Man, 600, 3,600 years, or man as spirit, 3,160 years, and then the vowels that brought everything in, 510 years, which equals to 3,760 years, in which once this was all done, in 3 BC, Christ was born to reconnect the two sides, because new islands came in, and earth grew. The oceans grew. The icebergs melted. The iceberg that may have moved into the Titanic because we needed more water, so it moved into the waters it shouldn't have been. Maybe it wasn't the fuck. Maybe I screwed up. But I'm not sure. Titanic is still up in the air in my head. But when it says Titanic, it means to tie 10 up. And the pyramid and the iceberg, it's the same thing. And you know where that iceberg came? From up in the sky. Because everybody on board on that boat was a pig and a bastard. And pigs and bastards in this world, he doesn't want. Because the pigs are all in heaven flying and connecting all the worlds. So he put the boat down. And Jack Dawson, they all didn't exist. But just to remind us of Jack, or JD, 10 and 4, October 4th of the 19th moon of the 36th creation, October 4th, 1963, in which this year, I'm 49, 7 by 7. I was born October 4th, 1963. My 777 from Seeing the Christ is December 21st. 7 years, 7 months, 2 weeks, 7 days, and 7 days. For the moon, 7 of their days and 7 of my moon, because they're half moons, they're quarter moons, partial moons from both sides. Rutabaga, Winnebago. Win, one. Who is who? He's on first. But he can't be on first because he's who and he's in your brain. So who's on second? He's on second. He's not on second because that's the heaven of the electronic spirit. He's on second. He's playing shortstop because he's passing all around. No, that's not true. He's got to be on second. So we can throw it out to 1 and 3, the creation of the spirit. 1 at one corner to 1 corner. In between is man. The shortstop picks it up. S. Shortstop equaling 38. The 114 days of the pig, or 57 for the number of the moon, or 40 plus 17, the game and the queen. 57, Heinz ketchup, the tomatoes and the toes, where your toes and tomatoes are. One grows on vines, one grows under the ground. It hides from the air because it doesn't want to hear what it has to say. The tomato, well, a rotten tomato is never really good, but you never really catch a rotten potato because they're all good to eat, even when they look like old grannies. Because when you're hungry and it comes from the ground, it's solid food. Regardless, potassium, the pot of all pots, the potato, and the pot to cook it in with the water, the salt, the butter, and the cream for the black and white story of the totality of everything I told you. I'm not going to add up any numbers, but I'm still going, and I really don't want to stop, but this is long enough for now. I'd rather have a small dick and keep it in a small water and not be able to go with the sharks. I'd rather stick with the piranhas because every little bite is a piece of information, and I'm encrypted. We are the archangels of all robots. We are the iRobot. I am one of the first off the line. There's more like me. If your name starts with an R, you're part of it. But don't forget, the R is split. Because of the H. Different places. R-A, R-O, R-E, R-I, R-U. Are you fine? Are you on the street? Le in French. R-U equals 39, or the 39 strikeouts with the 7th inning stretch. in which, listen to this, the 7th inning for the home team, every single inning that goes by, the pitcher throws 7 pitches. And then he throws 9. First we'll start with 7, but we should start with 3 and 2. 3 and 2, the count is full. Automatically, in some Little League sports, and more Little League, the next pitch, it's automatic. You swing, you don't swing, you're on base, you're out. 7 pitches. 3 batters, 21 pitches. 7 innings, by 21 pitches, 147. Look on your telephone on the left-hand side, 147. You want me to show you it again? 147. You want me to show you it again? 147. You want me to show you it again? 147. It just keeps going on until it reaches 36. 4 times. 147, 147, 147, 147. You did all 12. 12, 12, 12. 12 tribes. They didn't count the one in the center. 37 connects everything. 35 to the left. 39 to the right. And the roulette, 16, 15, 17, 20, the baseball, and 18, 21, which is R and U. And are you fine? 37, 37, 37, 111. Times the 8 heaven, 888. Times the 2 888s, 1776. It's like singing a song. It's like a riddle and a joke at the same time. First it's the riddle, then it's the joke. And then you swear and you tell everybody to fuck off. Because if you're fucking off, you're thinking of the word that's going on. And the word that's going on is telling you to get off. So you use the F, because it's the lowest you can go. It's a 6. Second, it's the O, but you'll fall through the flow. 15, 1 and 5 is 6. But one of the best is the X, because it brings you into this world. 2 and 4 is 6. It equals Fox. The next one is 33, and that's the recreation of the Christ. That makes you 9 and 27. And at 27, you're the Venus of the gate. And you have your own island in the islands of the Galactica of God of the heavens. In the house of HASHEM, of the Son of Christ, the energy that is put into man, the soldier who comes here to teach us all what's right. So he went, and he couldn't just push the things and say, hey, everybody, get out of here, out of Jerusalem, out of the house of God, you can't be here. He threw everything upside down because he wanted his point made. There weren't any guns back then. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to shoot everybody. All of these things that are happening now is what happened then. It's just been processed over time. Evolution of the thought, evolution of the mind, evolution of the time. You go with the flow, you go with what you know. Ho, 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 Jojo. Hot dogs, cigarettes, beer, peanuts, hot dogs. HD. Communication, view, a viewpoint, a better clearance. Your height, your weight, the size of your breasts, the cup. How you say what you have on your body through your mouth is knowing how you think of where you are in your mind. We got 2 pussies, and it's exactly like Christ. This is my mouth, and this is my brain. Right here, but I can't stick it in there, but it makes the Christ anyways. It's what's in between this part over here that goes all the way up from the vibration here into these 2 holes that split into this side and split into this side. And I didn't show you that they rewrap around the top, coming back through Venus and back out, and then one this way and one this way. Ken Dryden's mask. 88 and a 119 total that I did about an hour ago. Now that I passed off on the 147 that I told you about, 1 month of 28, 7 by 4, the Christ of the 4 corners of the 7 days of the 4 weeks of the moon month cycle of the 13 months of the 12 months of the 13 moons of 28 days of 364 days of a 360-day year. 4 days unaccounted for, plus 1.25. Well, 4 days is accounted by the moon. The other one's in our heart. 119 and 100 is 219. 2 moons, 38. Take away 24. 219, 207. Once you add them together, I think that was one of the trains in one of the songs that they were riding on the highway to hell. 207. 207. Now you got to know there's nothing to multiply. You're just going back 2, and the other one's got a 7. You're only going back 7 from nothing. So that's 7. The 7 and 2 come together, whereas 7 is now an empty space. All empty spaces get 0. And on the other side is an empty space, and the spaces of the zeros are in a space of where 101 is. Now you're on go. Collect 400. They let you out of the desert. Moses is free, and the Lord has come back this year. 7 and 2 is 9. You are now the Bee Gees, because you're the bees and the honey of life in the other world. Because now we're in the one world, but the two world is a whole lot better. 0, 9, 0. 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 0 in that world is 0, because it's on the outside, not on the inside where the trains are. It's in a corner. So you're 9 between 2 zeros. But the zeros are 10. They're God on both sides of you all the time. You're 9. You got 10 on the left side and you're all 9. 7 and 2 in the other world, not in the 3 worlds. But we acted as the one ass, the east and the whole. So you got 10 and 9. You got 19. Cycle of the moon. You look on the other side, you got 9 plus the 0. You got 19. It's 10. Because in Baccarat, they count as 0, but in the other world it's 10 because we don't understand it. Because we only have 9 digits. 19 on each side of 0. 19 on each side of 0. Now you have 19, 19, 19, because you're functioning inside of it. But you can't function. The maximum is the 19 to calculate your extension. You're 18, 18. You're actually 19 on the outside, because now you put your number on the outside of God. Now you put your number on the outside of God. You got 2 moons on the outside, 19 and 19. SOS, not SS. Now you are the 0, the egg of life. Your value is reduced and raised. Instead of being a regular F6, you're now a GH. The gates of heaven, the 7th and 8th, the 7th card and the 8th card. But you're past that. You're 19 on one side, you're 19 on the other side because you gave away your numbers. Now you're love. Love equals 54. 5 and 4 is 9, and the way it started, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 plus 4 is 9, 29, now you have 9/11. The tower has fallen. You fall, your angel falls, you go back to heaven, you don't need this world anymore, you are one. When you have twins and replicas, and you have bulls and bears in the central of the New York, the Big Apple, where they Statue of Liberty, and then they throw the people in Harlem and they feed them nothing and they're on the street and they put them all in jail because they're smoking weed, just because a couple of politicians didn't like it. They weren't hurting everybody because everybody was doing weed and smoking cocaine. Because it's only in this world that weed is not good, that they keep it away from you. It's only in this world that the cocaine is not good for you. Because the cocaine is the high speed, it's the octane, it's the Reggie. It's the regiment, man. When you're in the other world and you're an electronic, cocaine in your body is what helps all your vibrations catch up to the energy and understand the vibes of the moon and the sky. Look into our sky. There's a cloud over it. That ain't the right color. But I don't want to get into it. So we had fun. I haven't smoked in 2 hours, and I'm dying for a cigarette. But I didn't want to get up from this. 7 years ago, 12 years ago, 18 years ago, 36 years ago, I blew the ram's horn, and this year was my 36th year. Times 10, 3,700. My mind is thinking I have the Queen 3757. 37 is times 3 equals 111, times 8 times 2, 1776. "36 years, 1776, 3757, 57 is 19, 19, 19, because it explains Depending on where you put the numbers, you're going to either be 19, 19 on the outside, or be 19 on the inside, or hold the value of 38 because of what should be 19 and 19 on the outside. So now if we multiply the three 19s, 19 times, I love calculators, it's so much fun, I don't have to break my head. But 19 by 9 by 9, 19, everybody knows in the other world it's 20 by 20 by 20. 20 by 20 is 400. By 20 is 8,000. We know it's got to go back longer than that, eh? Before 7286. 7286 was Noah. It wasn't from building the whole thing. After building, I mean, don't forget, God had to draw up the plans. In order to get the plans, you got to have a place to work. To draw the hole up, 1,500 years. 4 holes, 6,000 years. If he doubled up God, if he doubled up us, it took 6,000 years to build us. Or 12,000 something doubled up in 2 worlds equals the Mayan count of 25,625, or 41 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is 25,625, or 40 to gain equals 25,000, which is 10 by 10 by 10, 1,000, X and O, 25,625. I'm burning. I'm hot and I'm on fire. But we're going to bring it to the level of the moon. And the level of the moon says 19 times 19 times 19. And the answer is, oh, please give me a number that makes sense. This is what I'm saying. I haven't pressed it yet. Now, since I'm coming to the end and I know what I'm doing, I'm going to get my cigarette before I go. Because if you think I've quit smoking, I don't think so. Where are my cigarettes? Please, cigarettes. Cigarettes. I gotta do the 19 moons. Where are my cigarettes? Where are my cigarettes? Oh my God, I don't believe it. No cigarettes. No cigarettes. Shh. That's crazy. I can't believe no cigarettes anymore. I got 1 lighter, 2 lighters. I never have lighters. Now I have a lighter. Oh! I found them! I was thinking I was going to have to move on. Oh my God. Oh, the nicotine. Oh my God. Don't you know what it does? They ruin the cigarettes. It's not supposed to be made this way. It's not supposed to say tar and nicotine, because tar backwards is 1 rat. It has to be tars and nicotine. Tarzan and the nicotine that lets you swing through the jungle, because when you're on cocaine and the nicotine's in your brain and you're having a couple of drinks, it closes the door, so half are open and half are closed, and you're halfway in, you're halfway out. If you cut the right angle, you go right on through and you're okay, you made it. Silver in the sliver of the moon. Silver, 85 matrix. 85 to a 10, 10 is 25, times all the world is 25,000. Bring man in the moon, you got 25,625, the Mayan count, in which they show the Mayan count. This is the dice they show. I made it all yellow, because they are the energy of the creation. Do you see look inside, okay? Look at the design inside. Now, if you take out that dot, you end up with this. But that's not the one I want to show you. I want to show you these. Each one is a beam to another level. Building and building and building. 111 floors. Twin towers. 37, 37, the center of Rubik's Cube. The plane comes in on an angle because they know how to slice the silver or sliver that they need, because the plane was part of a holographical illusion, and it wasn't a plane at all. Haven't you heard holographical illusions? People have shown pictures that they picked off part of the illusion by seeing the reflection of the sun that was blackened by the sky quickly after. Praise the Lord on the Bibles of all, of this space and time it took to encrypt all this information of every megabyte and byte and KB, MP, ND, RD, first, second, third, TH, you have TH all the way to 19. And at 20, you have no more TH. Now you have spirit heaven. And now you've been created. You have THC, time, heaven, creation. 20, 8, the moon, and the 3, the 31 days. The 31 days, 7 times for the 7 dice. 4 months, because one of the dice is just 1, and that's February. And the other 4 are the corners that took you all the way to jail, that brought you into this world. You see, if it wasn't for the second screen on my computer, I'd never see my calculator. So how do I see the other part of my energy? I don't want a calculator in my brain. That'll stop me from the next information that's flowing in on one side and placing on the other side while it's adjusting. I don't think it thinks on its own. I quit gambling. I didn't quit gambling. I had to quit gambling. It's like the toilet. It's got 5 gallons in the front. Why 5? It flushes. The toilet only goes about 2.5. You're always going to flow over. Or maybe 3.5. I don't know. Oh, 3.5 I think it is. Whatever it is, it goes down like this. Do you know why it goes like this? Because the screw doesn't push the wood in like a nail. It screws it in. So it doesn't push the air out of the way. Because when there's a bad energy and the winds come, it's because it's coming fast. And it's spiraling. Except the spirals are now all coming together. Because it's very fast. And the matrix is only 85. That's why they put Montana and Texas down to 85. For the transmission, the cars can go quicker, so the energies can go quicker. Because the energy of the car and the octane that they're actually using is an energy. The core and the coal and these coal mines and the digging is all to look for parts of the Vega cards that are in this system that they're connected to through communications through Colorado. They go through Lake Mead, the energy of everything, but now they need the rest of the energy underneath the rabbit hole, Lake Mead. But it doesn't matter if they find it, because we live in the U world, and it just goes back. There ain't no Vega card down here. It's just the wiring, and the earth takes care of that. It grounds it in. Ground beef. The card's in the other world. You're leaving Las Vegas. You didn't lose the money. You lost the truth of the name. Because the Vega card is lost because it's never been found. The lost and found. Have you found it? I lost it. You didn't find it? Maybe I didn't lose it. Because it was never here. The U is 2 points. The beta. The 1 that crosses through the U. I'm not going to start with the signs of astrology. We're coming into 3 hours now. The signs of astrology, the sign of the chart of Hitler, excuse me, anything that has you gotta put a face to everything, and you gotta make it the octagon. You gotta make it the big world. Then you can cut it down to the dice. How did the dice work? J and G, 10 and 7. The French say G, J, E, and I because the I is down here and the E is up there. When you turn over the 1 dice, the 9 goes up, the 1 goes down, but they're on the same corners. When you cross now 9 to 4, it would be where Saturn was. Now it's in Mars. 9 and 4 is 13, 9 and 4 is 36. 36 and 13, 49, 7 by 7. If I get white blood cells and catch cancer because of this, it's because I shouldn't be smoking as much or smoking at all. Do I think it's good? Absolutely not. I know what it does. It plugs up the roots from the tree of the breath that goes into your body. It has nothing to do with your brain, but your brain has everything to do with it because your brain knows, and you're lying to your lungs by putting too much nicotine into it. It only needs a little bit. You'd be taking 2 puffs on a cigarette, you should be putting it out, and then relighting it again, and then putting it out. Every time you've lit it and put your lips to it, and you've went on in a conversation, you get it back on your DNA right here, back into your mouth. That's why CSI takes the cigarette butts out of the ashtray to check for the DNA. They can't tell what he was saying exactly, but they know exactly what he was doing. because of the perspirations that are on it. I don't know exactly what it is, the perspirations. I'm more talking sexual or bodily perspirations, or just bodily effects that match you to the cigarette. The pyramids fell from the sky. They lowered them down. Boom, 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 like bombs going off. A bomb's bursting in air, gave proof to the land that our flag was still there. What do you think? God created the moon. We're living on the moon. This is our moon. Our thoughts are in our head. Instead of in the ground, they come out of the ground and into our head. We're a moon walking on the ground because we're nowhere than ahead and we're not ahead of the game. Because without our head, we're nowhere in the game. And then we're out of the game, and then we're in the other game, and we got more than a head. We've got 2 heads. In fact, we got 3 heads. We're the 3-headed shin. Or we can be the 3-headed shin and be down here. We'd be the sin, social insurance number before you pay the tax. Most people get it at 16, the one spirit of 6, because that's when they want the money to do things and run and go before they think. They just want to run and jump in the cars and drive real fast. So fast they don't understand that the matrix is 85. 85 times the 20 worlds is 17. Because you have to take off the 20 plus 1. But I'm only going to take off 20. It's easier to calculate because 21 is the cube. You should be taking off 22%. So how do I'm not going to calculate. I'm going to calculate 20. It'll be rounded out. 20% of 85 is 17. 85 minus 10 is 75. 75 minus 7 is 68. 6 man of the 8 heaven. And you shouldn't be driving any faster than that. 68 miles an hour. Let me calculate that out. 68 times 1.62. 1.62 kilometers to miles. 1, 6, and 2, 9. 1 spirit of the 2 beta of the 6th face of man. Pretty funny, eh? Equals 110 kilometers an hour. And that's exactly the speed limit in kilometers that Quebec had here at first. And then they went to 100 and let us drive 110 and then tickled us until about 116, the 1 spirit of 6. But when you got to 120, you got into the other worlds. And 120 in kilometers, 120 divided by 95 equals, oh, that's pretty fucked up. 120 divided by 95. 120 divided by 95. Take off 5 and take off 2. Take off 7. 120 is 113. No, that's not right. That's not right. It's 1.6. 40%. 40%. Oh, listen to this. This is crazy. 40%. Fuck. 40% is one thing, but the real number is 37, because 37 is in between. It connects. Take away 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And calculate 1 to 15, the game of pool. And then count 22 to 36, the other side of pool. But this time you're playing 4 and 8 versus 1 and 15. The 115 of the energy against the 2226. 222. 222 world of Venus, and 1 of the 6 man. Makes everything 8. That's why we have the 4 numbers, because it's the man that goes first. 222.6. 6 times 222. 12, 12, 12. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. 12th of December, 21st of December, 1 and 2 is 3, 1 and 2 is 3, 1 and 2 is 3. Big cycle, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, 114 days. 4, 1 and 1. 1 and 1 is the 1 spirit up here, up there, and the 1 spirit down here. With the 2 and 2, which is the angle of thought, because you're the 1, you're not adding your numbers, but 1 is 6. It's 5 on one side and 5 on the other side. Pictures they leave on books. 5 dots. Look at the triangles inside. Look at the center one that's dripping down. See how close they are to each other. They had to rise the mountains and lower and move the oceans and move the oceans to move the air, because the air moves over and it sways the spirit. When the spirit sways, it becomes like an S, and you never miss the spirit boat. You're always on it. It sways. But if the screw goes in too much to correct everything in this world, it ends up in Kansas City. Between Ohio and Mississippi and Kansas City is the cross. The highway that it comes through, because it can't come down the center, it has to screw and move over, or screw and move over. So that's why they're always tailing off. Kansas City, Highway 70 and 35. Half of each other. Total's 105. 7th gate times the 15th egg to fill up all the worlds, all the holes, is 105. Poker. Ace to 9, 45. 10, 55. Jack, Queen, King, 46. 91. Somehow I made a mistake somewhere. What was I doing? I don't remember. What was I doing? Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's coming. It's late. I'm going to calculate that 19 by 19 by 19 and see what it is. Let's see one more time. 19 by 19 by 19 equals 6,859, which is 1,000. Oh my God. Oh my God. 1,100. This is crazy. This is crazy. 5, 6, 8, 9 leaves out the 7th gate. It's 11 and 17. It's you and the Queen. And it comes out to 11 and 17 is 28. The cycle of the moon. The exact cycle of the moon. I did 19, 19, 19. It comes out at the end. And at the beginning, 6 and 8 is man in heaven. 5 and 9 is the mind of birth. Because the 9 is alive in your mind. It's the 6th man that's having problems. 6 and 9, 9 and 6. We're upside down. You can never tell if it's a 6 or a 9. Turn the card upside down. You look at the card. It's on the bottom. You got one eye that's fucked. You're looking down. You're not looking up. You should be looking up at things. No. The 6 is up. So from the time now, okay, minus 9 and a minus 5, 7, 7, 5, because I have to know minus the maximum of the Jewish year, not the minimum. It's 1,084, 1084. Oh my God. 1084, 84 and 10 is 94, 4 by 9 is 36, 4 by 8 is 32. Starting at 5, because you have to start at 5, the corners have to be full on the dice. Every dice has to look like this at the end. Because his man is spreading out his spirit. His 2 legs are on the ground and his penis picks up the rest of it through the bust and butt of his ass. That he goes to the toilet and he splits the area that's a little round hole, comes to a big round hole, depending on how it comes out. Your thoughts. 1084. 8 and 4 is 12. The other side is 1 is 13. We got the letter N. 8 by 4 is 32. Times the 0 is 0. Go on to the other side, all we got is 1 left. And the one of us that went 6 feet down with 2 feet up. 6 feet down, 2 feet up is 4. But we have the 1 left over. And it's a plus, because it's us. It's 3. We're recreated. But we're only 1 3. Because we haven't gotten the face yet. It is part of creation. We're the man of the mind. 1, 1, and 1. 1084, 84, or 8. 8 can't be made on 1 dice, so you either have to create it by 44, 53, 26. That's it. Or reversed. 84 is 7 times 12. 7 years, 12 months. 84 times 6 is 480, plus 24, where 6 by 4 is 24, is 504. Now you're living. 5 minus 4, 5 plus 4. 101. This dice makes 101. In this world, this dice made 101. But this is an empty hole. Is it that one, or is it the 5, 4, or the 3, 4? 3, 4, sorry. 3, 4. Because 3 times 4 is 12. And I needed to get 3, 4, because 3 and 4 is 7. 7 by 12 makes the 84. So we're going to get off that one now. Now we're going to check the letter R. Now I have to multiply it again. I forgot the four corners. And then I have to multiply it to the other world, but I'm not. Times 19 equals 20,596. The 20 world of the 5 passage of 96. 23, 23, 46, 23 in the center, 69, 23 in the center, 96, is that right? 23 and 23, and 23, 20, 30, 69, 79, 89, 92, oh, 92, oh my God, how did I do that? Oh my God, 6 by 8 is 48 by 2. Oh, I'm tired. 6 by 8 is 48 times 2. 96 is 48, is 24. That's what it was. Sorry, X. Your X. Your 9 and 6 is your X. Your ex-wife. That's who you screwed. You did the 96 and was all over. You turned upside down. You didn't know which end the slit was on. You know why? Because your butt goes out like this. What your mouth puts in like this. And now you got the cross. And it's your ass and your face. And you got the cross of Christ. You're going on in, you're going on out, and with the shit you take in, and with the shit you put out, is what you release at the 7th gate, below and between the cracks of your ass, the splitting of the seas. The seas are monkey ears. The C, if you take 2 C's and make them a little bit longer instead of rounder, a little bit more the Greek Roman style, then they end up looking like this. Like a little electricity. Zzz, zzz, zzz. And the world goes like this. It's a baseball. It's Avatar pulled all together. All these guys had visions of what they knew before. We all brought from the other world a little bit of what we knew. We all had a little bit of the other world inside of us. So if you want to know about recreation, as long as the ice melts, as long as the sun burns, as long as the heat rises back into the ice once it gets above the sea level effect, which is another story. Rolling this earth inside the lakes to the murky waters that sewed it together, that grew the grass and the greens before anything ever started. You know why God made a banana for the monkeys? Because the monkeys peel the banana upside down. So when they point the banana at you, it's like this. When man peels it from upside the other way, from the top. Excuse me, man's got it wrong. Excuse me. If you peel it from the bottom and hold it from the other side, it becomes a gun. You're holding the energies of what went in last and first from the top of the banana, so they know where to go first. I never knew that. Somebody else told me this story. Well, he didn't tell me the whole story. I had to go fishing. Wait a second. I didn't know there were any fish in there. I got one, when he's swimming around. Usually they run in a school. So the more I think, the more fish that show up. The fish of Christ. Fishing around for a little bit of the business of your own, where the tail is a W and the nose is a point. So you got the creation of 1, 1, 2, 3. Man is 1, 3, 2. 66 and 66 is 1, 3, 2. Puts man in the middle of 1 and 2. 2 is just like 1, because 2 is 1 and 1. It's a 1, but on the other side, making it a 2, because otherwise it look the same. And the 2 is a little bit of a snake. Makes a TV set. Start connecting the outlet. You know what? I got to go read some more kids' books. Something from years ago. Stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? I like to go on and see rhymes and stuff. Everything just keeps coming together. It's 3 hours now, and I really appreciate anybody that was able to put up with this 3-hour. As you noticed, I haven't been looking at anything but you. Nothing else. Oh, I'm a liar. What a liar I am. Liar, liar, pants on fire. The devious mind at thought. Warming up the brain, but the radiator ain't working properly. Because you ain't putting the gears in the right place, and you ain't changing the transmission at the right time, because you're lying. So you boil up, and at the end of the day, or tomorrow, or the day after, you end up with a headache, and you don't know why. And the question comes like this. Can I swear? Fuck. Oh no, those are in the Arctic. Penguin. Oh, those are in the Arctic. my chest. Spread our chest right up. Open up those ribs, because there's a lot of meat in those ribs. Prime beef, very tasty. A lot of thought passing around those ribs. We got to defer our energies everywhere. We're walking. We're like a walking time bomb. Without our brain, we couldn't cool off. We need water. The brain holds all that water that cools the rest of the body off. It's Niagara Falls from up there crying all through your body. And then, of course, they send it right back up because it cooled off, because you cooled off. Who am I? Like my pictures in the back? See the door in the middle? This is juniper bird. She lets in and out the proper spirits that are on the side. They're all waiting at the door. The Dalit, the Cuff, this one over the Nun, not the whole door. Don't look at the bottom of the door. There's nothing at the bottom of the door. It's just a crack. It's a Nun. You got the little black people, but that's a handle to get on in, and the spirit is in the face of one, and the spirit green, the Mediterranean salts of the orange sun, of the blue energy pushing from behind so everything gets on through. While the Mayan man, his triangle, has come off his head because he's put his point to matter, and he's relaxing and he's thinking because he's smoking weed. While the birds are looking from each side, trying to figure out which way to go. And then you have the bird over here, this bird here, this, I can't see myself. You have the one eye that goes down into the earth. You have another one that goes down into the earth. Penetration rod, energy. Juniper bird, here's the eggs. Here's the kinds of suns, the sons of God, the different kinds of suns, the evil sun, the mixed up one, all the different kinds of suns. You know how we know? Because God's got a laboratory, and he's got them all in a jar. And no one's thinking right now, because they're sleeping. For a couple of weeks. 28 days maybe. But they wouldn't know the difference, because they're all calm and relaxed. They're all like little bears. Got a little bit of honey, and went off to sleep when the times got cold. If I understand correctly, a true year is 288 days. That's a real year. That's why Moses and all these guys, they lived, I mean, 288, 72 and 72. 4 times 72 is 288. And 172 for this world, the one extra spirit to create. Makes a 360 round, plus the moon, plus your mind coming into this world. 288 was the old world because of the leap years and the missing time between the moon of the 1 1/4 day times 288 is 360. So now you know you got the round, there 288, you're 72, you got the 360 days of the year, the worlds are combined. But you just don't know it. 288 is 88. You got 2 of them. But you know you have to have 3, the 3 worlds. That's 888. Times 2, 1776. You know what I like about these pictures? Is because I can look from behind. You see? No color. Now you can see he looks a little scared, right? But on this side he looks a little concerned. So you turn it back to this side. You have an eye looking down here, you have an eye looking over here. See this little guy over here? Missing his head because he's behind this one. A-N-O-C-I. One bird looking this way, one bird looking this way. One bird looking this way, one bird looking this way. This is a rolling ball. It rolls down to here, passes on to him, and it comes all the way down, up over here and back over here, and over to the door. But no one has the key. Because in French, when you come to the door, the first words a French person says, c'est qui, it is who, el y a who is who, an owl is who? An owl is noted to be A-E and O. A-E is the A in first and fifth letter. The O is the 15th. We use the same numbers to get to another level. From the first side to the second side. From the first side, we have the 10, which is 1, 5, and 9. 1, 5, and 9 is 15. By the time we get to the next 15, it's 30. But from 15 on the dice, you stop, because the next dice is a 6. So from 30, you go to 36 now, by adding up and re-adding the vowels. 36 puts you on short line. Short line is the opposite track from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania got you into this world, which is a pen. Pennsylvania brought you the Liberty Bell and the Eagle. But when you go to short line, you go all the way to Jupiter. And that's the pig that takes you home. The passage of the moon in the times of Jupiter. The star of Bethlehem. And the pig of Saturn. Venus. Mars. Not Neptune. Neptune's just a gas. We've been all gassed up, full of spirit and drunk, and we don't even know it, but we're treating everybody like shit just like we were drinking. Oh yeah, there is one picture on here I wanted to show you. It's the girl with the 2 eyes and the pink face. But wait a second, it's not a girl, it's a bird, and he's got tears. He's slurping. Now it's a girl, now it's a bird. Now it's a girl, now it's a bird. You see, this, when you turn it upside down, this orange here belonged to this over here. It used to be a Y, but it got split because of the 2 different energies that flow. The blue world, the blue energy of Neptune. Anyways, we're going to keep it short. That's it. That's it. That's it. You're done. You're done. Wait a second. You're done, but I had all the fun. Now you're watching, and you just got through it, and you're tired. And how can I be tired? Because I was at work. I enjoy working. That's pretty cool, eh? You know what I'm scared of is, you see, I'm writing a book. My last name is E.T.H. or M.E.T.H. Nazareth. My last name is Premise. My grandfather's Zaritsky. Zar, Eth, Zareth. Nazareth, North America, Zar, Eth. Where I'm from, my grandfather and my grandfather. Pretty weird. The myth, the mystery, the CSI, the creation of the spirit intelligence. First, second, and third, ST, ND, RD. Put the A's in there and you got standard. But when you put the TH and E in there, you got standard death. Standard death. Walking at the end of a plank. Not a very big plank either. And before you even get onto the plank, what's first? What comes out of your nose or what comes out of your mouth? Those who dig for gold are thinking. But that's not where the gold is. And it ain't a good way to think. But it is a good way to think because it's a transfer of your energy. But I don't agree with it. What I do agree with it is when you block your nose, you don't let the air out. You sneeze, you put it in a napkin, your hand is right near it. You wash your hands after. Give it a minute before you wash your hands. Let the energies from the thoughts of your brain and your mind touch your hand. You cannot wash, you cannot kill the germs. The skin was made to fall off. Every 36 hours you take a shower. You take an extra shower on that Friday because you're not taking a shower until Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, you take a shower. But Wednesday, you don't take a shower because it's a Passover day. But on Thursday and Friday, you take a shower again, and Saturday you don't. 2 days you don't a week. If you work, now your brain is in a different category. It's automatically you go to work, you come home, you take a shower. But it's usually good to wait a half hour and relax your mind before you go in the shower to relax even more in the shower so you can get a reflection of your day rather than running in and puffing and then wanting to jump out, slipping on the floor, hitting your head, lying there dead, and it's all over. The blood's running red, and the moon behind me is red. somehow while I was designing my house, certain things fell and mixed up, and I got these weird things all over the place. If you look, I don't do this too often, but where is it? You see that over there, that little furry thing near the window? That's a lamb. The lamb is by my window, and in my bed, I have a tiger. It's a stuffed tiger. I found it. And you know what's funny? My laptop fell next to my heater. When I picked it up 4 hours later, it burned 4 claw marks into my computer, or 5. It's really weird. Really weird. Anyways, I told you my name. My name is Ronald Raphael Ronnie, like I told you in the middle. I eat sardines and I love salmon. I don't like to cook my food, and I love red meat. I don't want to cook it because I want the red blood, and I want to know the intelligence of the cow who pushed that out. So if I buy meat, it better look good, and I better smell it and taste it and touch it before I eat it, because I don't like to cook it too much. I sort of season it on the top and the bottom. Season in French is 16. And happy birthday to all of you. Welcome to the new world of Aquarius, the new age for the angel of R, for the mind of H, for the understanding of J, and for the comprehension of the animal in this world, K. 1 and 1 is 2. A, J, A, H, Ah. A, H, Ah. O from the A family, Ah. Next is J. Ah, J. Got a joint, got a J. Next one is K. Hey, JK. Next one is R. JKR, JR, JKR. Ah, Jaka, 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 Joe, Jack, Joe. A, J, Ah. JK, J, K. But it's a joke because it's in this world, it's an O. So it's Joe, K, Joker. Ah, Joker. That's what the A says before anything else. The R is last, the A is first. We switch it around, instead of it being 18, it's now 81 or 1881. 81 and 18 is 99. The man of Jupiter, the star of Bethlehem. The R reverse turned around is 1-8, and there's the 1 on the other side with the 8 in the center from the H. The H is an 8, and the R on the second level has an 8. 1, 8, 8, 1. 1881 plus 119 years is the year 2000. The 1 spirit of the moon, or the 11, 9. 119 years from 1881 as 11, 9 is the year 2000. You bring in the birth, not in the first year, because it's all zeros. It has to go through the gate to get to the next year. And then 250 days, I think it is, into September, 2, 5, and 4, which is number 11. If I'm right, I'm a little bit off now because I'm going a little quick. It's 911. 119. 11 years later, plus 1. So it's 119 plus 12 this year is 131. 131. But 131 is actually 159. I'll explain it to you. 131. The creation is in between the 1 and 1 spirit. 3 and 1 is 4. 1 and 3 is 4. You have 4, 4, 4, 4 in all the corners, because don't forget, when you make this corner, it makes that corner. When you make this corner, it makes that corner. 4 by 4 is 16, by 4 is 64. You got the game of chess, the game of life. It comes out of your mind, and it's all the players on the board. You have to know how to move them in order to win the game of the mind. Who am I? I'm a guy who's taking cod liver oil. Why? Because it cleans out my gut. When I got food stuck in my gut, can't think. When I eat too much, I cry. I have to serve my diet the way the mind asks. I have to take my pills for bipolar because the doctors tell me to. Nobody wants to pay to help me just completely get off of it. They just want you to stay on them because you're on it forever. Do you know why? You need those pills. Because the gate, okay, that dam, if you don't take that pill, that dam will overflow and you'll bust. You'll see moving pictures so fast just like you're at the movies. It's happened to me. It's taken me 7 years. 7 years, 5 months right now, just like the dice. 5, 5, 5 is 20, 7 and 7 is 14, 2014 minus the 2 beta, because she came in as 2. We're already here. 2014 goes to 2012. 2014, 5775 in the Hebrew calendar, but go look at the roulette wheel. It says orphan children on it. And one set of numbers is marked, adds up to 57, the other one adds up to 75. 5775 in 2012. 5775, let me do this one. 5775, I'm going to have to plus, I'm going to go to the long count, 2015, whoop, I made a mistake. 2015 equals 7790, or 7, 7, 9, and 0. Because in one world, it's the 10 God, the 0. In this world, it's 7 God. So it's Alpha Omega of 79. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 by 7 is 49. Those are all my numbers. I was born on the 277th and the leap year 278th day of the year. Give me the upper and the lower moon so I can carry it on my Resh back. The Resh, the letter, creates hearts. The Resh creates everything. It creates diamonds. It just creates. You know why? Because just like they say in the Hebrew books, the letter is broken up and put back together so you know how to put back on the roof. Because we're builders. And we come here to build, and we come here to build inside our heads. And the money, it's dead. We're going to go through a whole tree of all kinds of stuff. And everybody's going to hate it. You know why? Because they're all going to love it. What they're going to hate is what their neighbor says. I don't agree on this, but he agrees on that. But we don't always agree on everything. But the minute you put a joint in your mouth, we're all buddies. Buddy, buddy. Wow, it's 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Where am I? I had a little nap. I wasn't feeling good because I stood up 36 hours. But thousands and thousands of notes on Facebook, or thousands of letters, digits, points, thousands of videos. Just because of a dream I had when I was 10 years old. I'm not going to get into that. Who am I? I'm RMF, a real motherfucker. That's what they used to say to me. RMF. You want to hear the rest of it? My sister is Cheryl, my brother is Martin. RMS Titanic. The iceberg went down, but now my family is going to bring it up again. The pyramid will rise. The skies will lower, the gates will open. First all we'll see is Halloween. But after Halloween, we'll see bloodshed and wolves, vampires. And after the vampires, we'll come to clean streets, and then we'll notice the spirit in our heart has brought a spirit from the energy, and the Christ returns. I'm only a messenger. That's it. That's all. There are 144,000 midway angels. Take away the 10 because of the 10 of God, which is 100, which makes it 144. There's 144 people in the world. Where is this hand? You see the hand? That hand is straight across. It's a tiger's nail. They cut you from one end. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe it's deeper on this side. Where is it? Oh, you can't see it on the camera. You see the crack how it goes straight across? See that one too? They cut you right through your hands. And they put pegs in. That's how they put Christ in the cross. They didn't have nails. Not those nails, not those kind. So they cut you with this, and this hand, to remind yourself of the straight path you should be going on both hands, even if they're on the opposite side. Thumbs on the outside, thumbs on the inside. Pinky say one world and the other world. Now you see one, now you don't. Now it's an X of 10, now it's 5 and 5. Now it's an X of 10 and 10, now it's 5 and 5. Now it's an X of 10 and 10, and the X is 10 is 20. Plus this arm, 2, because it connects up to down, and this arm connects up to down. Is it 24 hours a day of man in the game of life. I am Raphael. I am only a messenger. I have no idea why. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not a messenger. Maybe I'm a storyteller. Maybe this whole video has just been a story and fiction and a tale, just like watching TV. No commercials and everything is free. You open it up and you take it when you want, you close it down, you spit it out. You forget about it or you think about it. But if you've been there this long, then you've been watching the roots of life. Roots, the Jews, all the same thing. Slaves, all slaves. Because we were learning at the beginning. Some of us went one way and got rich. Some of us went the other way and got rich. Some of us went backwards and got rich. And some of us went forward and got rich. We all got rich. But only one will be the poor man. Do you know why? Because if there's no poor man, there's nobody to gather the information of the thoughts of the others to rectify the thoughts inside their minds. You go rich and the other goes poor and it goes all the way around. As long as you have one U-turn, you can turn around and go back. In this world, we got three. One on that side, one on that side, and one above our head. The club. 21, 21, 21. 3 7s, 21, 3 7s, 21, 3 7s, 21. 3, 6, 9, 7s. 9 times 7 is 63. 6 and 3 is 9. 3 6s is 18. 1 and 8 is 9. The club goes around. Beta. Plugs here, goes around, plugs here. Only to the one point. 2 covers 1. 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 And then the pyramid is at the bottom to hold it up. Am I a messenger? I don't know. You know what I want? I need to go out. That's just all I do. The last 2 years, it's like go to the bathroom and come sit back here and go to the bathroom. My ass hurts. When your ass starts to hurt, you got to get out of the seat because you've been there a little bit too long. That's why most games that you play in casinos, it's 3 hours, 30 minutes, 4 hours max. You want to be out of there in 90 minutes because in 90 minutes, it's 1 part cycle. 90 minutes is an hour and a half. 12 o'clock, 1:30. 12 o'clock, 1:30. 12 o'clock, 1:30. 10 times, you got an egg. Do you understand why? If you got an egg 10 times, God is 10, you're 6, you play the angle of the 4 spirit, but you can only be 2 because you're on 2 sides. So you're reducing all that time you can play because this mind, if it gets too much into the play, it forgets about the rest of the day. And then you ain't thinking straight anymore. And you're gambling, you were up, now you're down. But if you're there an hour, you were up and down, the story's okay. You lost, it happened quick, you got out. But you stayed there 5, 6, 7 hours, like you ate, and you think, oh, you had fun because you're talking to people, but you couldn't let the spirits in your brain to figure out the whole thing of life. It's all about the day. The Monday, the Tuesday, the chosen. The Monday of the moon, the French say it's a noonday of the moon. The Spanish, maybe Dr. Seuss. Maybe I'll get into Dr. Seuss and just sing along with this book and try and unscramble the reality. As man wears many hats, so did the cat. The 9 lives of the cat, the 8 lives of man. You get that? The 9 lives of the cat, the 8 lives of man. Man only gets to play the corners if he lands on them, or take a ride on the train, but he never gets to play Jupiter because he's inside and she's playing him as he's playing her. You're never anywhere without Jupiter, and if you're part of Earth and you take the initials J and E, you are the eye of everything because you're able to see beneath what? The iron curtain that was nothing more than a mist in your head, something that you missed. The mist that brought us into life. Now it always goes on and I can stop and go, but this is, because I just don't want to come off as being anything more than just a regular guy, because that's all I am, is a regular guy. I can't play a guitar. I don't play, it's not that I can't, I don't play piano. I could, I probably do play piano in my head because I know there's 52 and 36 and 3 on the bottom making 91, which is 13 by 7, which is one season of 91, times 4 is 364, which is 13 moons in 12 months. Start putting your instruments together. I'll show you another way to do it. Oh. 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 My wing hurts. I just want to be a regular guy. Whoever watches this, I'm just a regular guy, eh? Go out, smoke a joint, walk in the park. Walking in the park. How does it go then? Dun, 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 dun. I don't remember any of the songs. But Christopher, I didn't figure the whole thing out because I haven't given it enough time. But it's all numbers and dice and squares and cubes and games and what you can do with your hands, what you can't do with your hands, and you can't stand up if you're going to sit down because otherwise you'd be going up and stopping and then going up because you don't go down and up. You go down, stop, and then you go up. You go down, stop, 1. You start, 0. Because you were at 1. Right? You hit 1, but you left from 1, you leave from the same place, so you're 0. Because you can't count the same one twice because you're still in the same house. So I get the mouse rolling. A lot better than this one, because this one keeps screwing me up. November 4th, Raphael, 7286. November 4th. Thank you.